neglecting their health, only to wish they could trade their wealth for better health at the end. This is Dr. Fritz Beyer, and it has now been over 30 years since my first chiropractic adjustment. I still get asked, do you get adjusted? Absolutely. I try to get adjusted at least once a month. I'm 47 now and still try to stay as active as ever. While I do get a few more aches and pains than when I was younger, it feels great to be able to step on the mat and help kids learning to wrestle. Chiropractic has helped me feel young enough to do it. If staying active is part of your future plans, call 254-BODY to get your body back to the basics.
At Seed Pros, our mission is to be your business partner every day of every season.
Pioneer Hybrid International was founded in Iowa back in 1926.
With you to continually push the limits by combining elite seed genetics, local infield knowledge, along with customer service second to none.
We are
looking for the ultimate place to host your party? It's time to roll into the Super Bowl on Highway 71 in Atlantic, the place to celebrate birthdays, family nights, or even date nights. Glow Bowling lights up your Friday and Saturday nights. We've got bumpers and ramps for the kiddos, and plenty of lanes for the grown-ups' bragging rights. Whether you're here to compete or just kick back and relax.
Bounce back with a string of victories, defeating Glenwood on Tuesday, Ballard on Friday, and sweeping Denison Sleswig in a Saturday doubleheader with scores of 6-0 and 13-3 in 5. Atlantic head coach Terry Hensman praised his team's strong performance, highlighting sophomore Peyton McLaren's dominant outing in Game 1. McLaren threw a complete game shutout, striking out 8 Monarch batters, while the Trojans scored 6 runs to secure the win. In Game 2, Atlantic's offense came alive. Every player in the lineup recorded a hit, and nearly everyone crossed the plate in a 13-3 rout. The Trojans added insurance runs throughout, including a 3-run burst in the top of the 7th to put the game out of reach. Head coach Terry Hensman credited the improved hitting for the decisive win.
That was pretty much up and down the lineup as you take a look at it. Everybody, except for maybe one girl, crossed the plate at some point in time, and everybody got at least one hit up and down the lineup. So that's kind of more what we're looking for against some of the Hawkeye 10 teams that we're going to play. We gave up 3 runs there, and the air sort of led to a longer inning than we hoped to. But
Bryn Lamp picked up the win of the circle for the Trojans, and Coach Hensman says Lamp had a solid performance in her first major varsity outing.
Bryn Lamp got her first varsity outing, as far as she pitched a little bit last year too, but her first big varsity outing against Denison, and did an excellent job of keeping him off balance. She struck out 5 or 6 hitters, and we did just 3 unearned runs that crossed the plate in the second inning. Was the only blemish on the mark for her. So we're really pleased to be able to come away with those 2 wins at Denison.
And now it's Harlan.
Yeah, new coaching. If you're looking around the Hawkeye 10, I think pretty much half the coaches are new or second-year coached in their positions. They beat Denison, if I saw that correctly. I just saw the score go across there. So, they're going to be prepared and ready to play. They were young, really young last year, and to get another year of experience under their belt, I think they're going to prove to be a bit of a challenge. On paper, if you look at it, we should win the ball games, but we know that sometimes things happen. That's why you step on the field. You can't just go by what you have. And then we hit the road again. I think we go to Shenandoah on Tuesday, and then I think we have another. I haven't looked that far ahead, but I know wherever we're going on Thursday, it's not at home.
I think we'll be at Lewis Central there sometime this next.
Yeah, and that's going to be a tough game. Lewis Central had a move-in shortstop from Florida. That's kind of the real deal. We went and watched him on Tuesday, but that's not the only player that they have. Yeah. They have they can put the bat on the ball, so that's going to be a challenge. And then we wrap up the week with the doubleheader with 4A ranked Carlisle and 7th ranked Eskerville Lincoln Central, and then a couple of tough games for us. Exire HK ranked in 2A on Saturday, and then Riverside as well. So it's a busy week for us, but I don't think we'd want it any other way right now. But then we can actually get to have a home opener there at the end of the week for us. Yeah.
Yes, that'll be a 3:30 pitch. We'll have that broadcast as well. Eskerville Lincoln Central. If you can't make it, but come on out and watch this team play. That's at 3:30, and then Carlisle will play Eskerville Lincoln Central in between, and then the nightcap will be Atlantic and Carlisle. That's going to be a good one. It was last year too.
Yeah, it's that time of the year, and it's actually a good time of the year. You get on a diamond. We practiced in the morning. The girls have done a lot of off-season stuff, some on their own, some organized, some play on spring league teams and that kind of stuff. But it's never really the same until you put on the Atlantic jersey and go out there and actually get on the field and shake hands with some other coaches that I know around the area and some umpires that I know around the area and actually get out there and compete and watch the girls put into practice the things that they've done over and over and over at 6 o'clock in the morning for the last 3 weeks. So we're done, I believe, with all spring sports. That's one thing that a lot of people don't understand, and I've tried to just simply stop explaining it because you don't get that. As a softball coach, and baseball was the same way when I was coaching baseball, you got to have a list of who's there that day and who's not, and who's at track and who's at soccer and who's at tennis and who's at golf and who's got all the graduation things of baccalaureate and class night and all that kind of stuff, and throw dance in there and throw some family things in there, and you have to wonder. I look out over the field in a bunt situation trying to remember in my head, okay, everybody on the field right now actually went through bunt situations, I think, at some point in time. Granted, it was probably somewhere between 6 and 6:30 in the morning, but we were able to get everything in, and the girls do a great job on some of those specialty plays in that. So I think we've got all that stuff behind us. I think it's just a softball team now for the most part. And we're looking for big things going forward, and we're looking forward to you being at the Diamond this next weekend.
We'll see you on the night, Coach. We'll be back with the starters and the opening pitch from Harlan right after these on 95.7 FM and our live video stream, WesternIowaToday.com, powered by Nishnanet. As busy as we all seem to be,
Olson's Outdoor Power is your one-stop service and equipment shop for all things outdoor. We sell the best power sports products in the business, from Polaris, Can-Am, Sea-Doo, and Ski-Doo, trailers to tackle any job from H&H, Triton, and Wilson, and we continue to lead the way in lawn and garden equipment with great products from Exmark, Dixie Chopper, Husqvarna, Cub Cadet, Steel, and Echo. Add factory-trained technicians in 2 locations, and it's easy to see why Olson's Outdoor Power is the leader in all things outdoor. Olson's Outdoor Power, your one-stop service and equipment shop with locations in Atlantic and Carroll.
First Windy Bank is the longest standing locally owned bank in Atlantic, and as such, we take pride in how we serve our community. For generations, we have been involved with our customers and their families by getting involved in community events and by supporting technology and teaching financial literacy in our schools. You'll also see our support of athletics on the scoreboards at home events. It's this involvement that allows us to know our customers and their families for generations. First Windy Bank, the only bank you'll ever need. Member FDIC.
welcome back to Harlan. Tom Robinson with Roger Warren is the coaches. Harlan head coach Brett Cron meeting with Atlantic head coach Terry Hinsman at home plate with the 2 umpires here, Roger Warren. And you've seen this team play, and how impressed are you, and what are you impressed with so far with this group here, and a lot of these players back from last year?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I got a lot of players back. Lida, you got to start with Lila behind the plate. I mean, she's got an arm. Plus she's got speed. She can hit the ball. The rest of the infielders are pretty solid. I know that they've been working on their outfield and trying to make, keep that, improve that, because that's pretty much a new outfield. So it's just a matter of they got to play games. And I know that when they went up to Denison, they tried a couple of different positions or different lineups, which is what you got to do this time of year. You got to put people in those places, and I think that they've got a lot of experience behind them, so it'll be interesting in the next 7 games in 5 days, or something like that.
Zoe Kirchhoff, 12 of 17 at the plate. It's early, but hitting .706. How impressed are you with her?
Well, I'll tell you what, she was up at Ballard. I went to Ballard and watched them, and it was a great ball game. It was just back and forth. It was 3-2. We're up at the bottom of the 6th, or top of the 6th, and it was a 6th or 7th. She cracks that 2-run home run and makes it 5-2, and proved out we didn't need it, but that's always good insurance.
No doubt about it. Harlan now out on the field warming up. Cameron Goshorn will be in the circle for the Cyclones. Susie Kinkle will be catching. Carly Goshorn at first. Aubrey Arkfield at second base. Avery Mance at shortstop. Taylor Hazy at third. Out at left, Aubrey Wagner, Caitlin Schmitz in center, and Lauren Schmitz in right. And as you can probably hear through the headset, it's windy, and it's a warm, hot, windy day here.
Oh, yes, it is.
Southwest Iowa, and they are talking some rain possibly coming in here early tomorrow morning and maybe lasting through tomorrow. It's going to be much cooler tomorrow with a high in the mid-60s. For Atlantic, they'll lead off with Lila Wiederstein. As we talked about her, she has a couple of home runs. She's the catcher for the Trojans with that outstanding arm. And batting second will be Dylan Ball. We saw Dylan play a little bit last year. She can hit the ball. She's playing right field for the Trojans. Zoe Kirchhoff will be in the circle for Atlantic. And as you mentioned, batting just over 700 here early in the season, 12 of 17. Batting cleanup, Claire Schroeder at third. Batting fifth, Jill Satoff, the first base person. Batting sixth, Peyton McLaren. She'll play shortstop. Batting seventh, McKenna Sontag at second. Batting eighth, McKenna Schrader at center field. And Adler Bruce will play left field and bat ninth. We are getting set to go as Goshorn, a lefty for the Cyclones. Leading off for Atlantic is Lila Wiederstein, one of two here tonight at H. Jack Field here in Harlan. And here we go. The first pitch coming up. Goshorn will pitch the ball. Here's the pitch. Strike is called right down the middle. And the count is 0-1 to Lila Wiederstein. Again, Hazy at third. Mance at short. Arkfeld at second to Goshorn. Carly Goshorn at first. Cameron in the circle. No balls and a strike to Wiederstein. Here's the pitch. High for ball. Riser sailed high. The count is 1-1 to Lila Wiederstein. Aubrey Wagner in left, Caitlin Schmitz in center, Lauren Schmitz in right. Wiederstein, and then Dylan Ball and Zoe Kirchhoff for Atlantic, the first three hitters in the Trojan lineup. Wiederstein has stepped out of the batter's box, now back in. It's a lefty, Goshorn against righty Wiederstein. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss, and the count goes to 1-2. A beautiful pitch on the outside edge of the plate. And Wiederstein swung and a missed. Atlantic in their white jerseys, black pants. Harlan, their red jerseys, black pants. 1-2 the count to Wiederstein, the junior catcher for Atlantic. The sign, the pitch by Goshorn, swung on and fouled straight back. And the count is 1-2 strikes. Susie Kinkle is the catcher for the Cyclones. And Wiederstein batting .474. She's off to a great start with 9 hits. She has 4 singles, a double, 2 triples, a couple of home runs, and an RBI for Atlantic. And now we got a equipment issue, I believe, with Goshorn heading over to Coach Cron, and he's going to give her a new mask, I believe. Wiederstein scored 11 runs this season. She's 9 of 19 at the plate. Again, with 2 singles, 4 doubles, 1 triple, 2 home runs, and 1 RBI. And the count is 1-2 to Lila Wiederstein here in the top of the first inning. Leadoff batter here in this first of 2 in Harlan. Here's the sign. Goshorn brings the pitch, swung on, popped up, shallow left.
That's going to be tough.
Back is Wagner, and she's going to make the grab barely. That one about sailed over her head. I believe the wind caught it out in left field.
The wind pushed that baby out a little bit.
So good job by Goshorn, was able to snag it. And there's one down for the Trojans. Top of the first. Here's Dylan Ball, the right fielder, will stand in.
That's one thing about Lila. I mean, she's going to hit the ball. Sometimes she makes contact and it goes, but she's not going to strike out very often.
That ball sailed high, and then the wind grabbed it, but good catch by Wagner and left. Pitched to Ball, swung on and missed. The
change up.
0-1, and Goshorn's got some good stuff early.
Yep.
Dylan Ball for Atlantic is batting .500. She comes in as 7-14, 6 singles, and she has a 2-bagger for Atlantic. 1 RBI for, in fact, 6 RBI for Dylan Ball. Here's the pitch. There's a just missed outside. Right. Well, that was close.
You were about to call out one strike. You're sitting over there. You can see better.
I'm pretty close to behind the plate here. In fact, yeah, you could say I am. 1-1. The count to Dylan Ball, Goshorn. In the circle, nobody on, 1 out. The pitch swung on, a tapper right back where it came from. Goshorn snags it, fires the first, and Carly Goshorn makes the grab on a 1-3, and there's 2 up and 2 down for Atlantic here in the top of the first inning. Goshorn off to a good start, Roger Warren.
Well, a good defensive play. I tell you what, that pitching position, you got to be ready because that can come at you in a hurry.
Zoe Kirchhoff, the batter, hitting .706 on the year. What a start for Zoe Kirchhoff. A couple of home runs. She's 12 of 17 at the plate. I looked in the 3A stats, and I know it's just 5 games in. Here's the pitch, low and away. She's 4th in the state in 3A in batting average, Roger.
Well, she moves up in the box, and the only reason I can think she wants to get to that ball before it starts making a break or something.
But 11 RBI already.
Oh, yeah.
In 5 games. Atlantic 4-1, Harlan 1-3. Swing and a miss, an outside pitch by Goshorn. And the count is 1-1.
I think she made up her mind she was going to swing at that one.
They play Kirchhoff straightaway center, right and left. 1-2. Here's the pitch coming in. Swung on. Tapper to short, charging Mance. She's got to hurry. The throw in time by half a step.
Yep.
And Atlantic goes down in order. 1, 2, 3. A fly ball to left, a ground ball to the pitcher, Goshorn, and the throw from Mance over to Carly Goshorn, and that'll be it for the Trojans at the top of the first inning. Back with the Cyclones' first look at Kirchhoff coming up.
Have you ever heard the saying, people spend their life building wealth and neglecting their health, only to wish they could trade their wealth for better health at the end? This is Dr. Fritz Beyer, and it has now been over 30 years since my first chiropractic adjustment. I still get asked, do you get adjusted? Absolutely. I try to get adjusted at least once a month. I'm 47 now and still try to stay as active as ever. While I do get a few more aches and pains than when I was younger, it feels great to be able to step on the mat and help kids learning to wrestle. Chiropractic has helped me feel young enough to do it. If staying active is part of your future plans, call 254-BODY to get your body back to the basics.
At 2nd Street Auto, it's our mission to get you back on the road fast. And it all starts with free local towing. Once you're back at the shop, we talk you through your car repair with a free and fair estimate. We do everything in-house so you know who's working on your car. Our Hercules tires come with free road hazard repair, free rotation for the life of the tires, and a free alignment check. And nobody can beat our transmission rebuild and repair experts. Brakes, tune-ups, oil changes, preventative maintenance, and service work make 2nd Street your first stop.
Welcome back to Harlan, Tom Robinson, Roger Warren, Atlantic 1, 2, 3 in the top of this frame. And now for the Cyclones, Avery Mance, Aubrey Wagner, Taylor Hazy will bat for Coach Cron and the Harlan Community Cyclones. Coach Cron's assisted by Nolan Hazy and Brian James. Atlantic head coach Terry Hensman and his assistant Derek Handel and Molly O'Hara.
No, folks, that's not thunder. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, no, there we go. We'll try to limit the wind as much as possible. You slug me, though, when you come on there, Roger. And so here we go in the bottom half of the number 1. No score. Here's the pitch by Kirchhoff. That one sent high to center field. Rushing in and making the grab in center for Atlantic is McKenna Schrader.
Nice catch.
Yeah,
Came in charging on that baby because that was going to be tough.
1 down for the Cyclones on the first pitch. Mans attacks it, and Schrader, like you mentioned, Roger Warren, made a nice run up. Those aren't as easy as you think sometimes when you have to run up on the ball. Here's Aubrey Wagner, the batter for Harlan Community. Nobody on, 1 out, no score, bottom half of the first inning. Here's the pitch on the way, and it is low for a ball. Count is 1-0. Wind directly out of the south, which would be a crosswind across the diamond. A right-hander gets a hold of one, and that thing probably gone. 186 out in left. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Count 1-1. Aubrey Wagner, Taylor Hazy on deck. Atlantic went down in order at the top of this frame. Kirchhoff retires Mance on a fly ball to center field. Schrader in center, Bruce in left. Here's the pitch on the way. Dylan Ball in right. That one low for a ball. 2-1 the count. Infield, first base, Jill Satoff. Second base, McKenna Sontag. Peyton McLaren at short. And at third base, Claire Schroeder. 2 balls and a strike. And the pitch on the way. There's a strike call. What a beauty by Kirchhoff.
Yeah, that was down at the knees.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Aubrey Wagner at the plate for the Cyclones. Aubrey hitting 182 on the year. 2 hits so far this season, 2-11 this young season. 2-2 pitch coming. There's a tapper to short. McLaren charges, gobbles it up, fires the first, gets the out. 6-3.
Nice play.
Taylor Hazy to step in. That was a hot shot, right?
You bet.
McLaren.
Well, that one just kind of a slow roller, and when you come running in on it, sometimes they're difficult to handle.
2 up and 2 down for Harlan Community here in the bottom half of the first inning. Cyclones averaging 184 at the plate. Atlantic came in with a 346 team batting average. So here we go as a gust of wind comes up. Here's the pitch coming in, rolls in for a ball. And the count is 1-0. 2 up and 2 down for Harlan Community. No score in the bottom half of the first inning.
She tried to hold off on that one.
Yeah.
It just didn't get fingers around it.
Hazy at the plate. Here's the 1-0 pitch coming in. Swung off the handle. Popped up. Wiederstein's going to make the grab near the batter's box on her side. And that'll be it for the Cyclones. They go down in order here in the bottom half of the first inning. We'll take a 1-minute timeout. We're back after these.
Your business is your business, but there are times when you need someone to come alongside you. You need someone who...
Cass Health in Atlantic, Iowa is a nationally recognized hospital, and we are proud of the awards and all of our recent accomplishments. But do you know what drives us to be the very best? You. We're passionate about helping our patients heal and feel their very best at any age and any stage of life.
At Outfitters Plus in Atlantic, you'll find all the latest in custom apparel and headwear. Head to Outfitters and work with the design pros to make your customized tees, team apparel, and personalized swag for your business a reality. Whether it's fan apparel for your high school or youth sports teams, your business, or you just want to make something your own, you'll have everyone saying, "Where'd you get that?" Don't forget, Outfitters will also add your group store online to make ordering a breeze. Get personalized at Outfitters Plus Outlet Store in Atlantic. Stop by today.
Welcome back to H-Jack Field here in Harlem. We go to the top of the second. Atlantic will have Schroeder, Satoff, and McLaren. 4, 5, and 6. They went down in order in the top of the first inning. Goshorn looked good. Forced a fly ball and a couple of ground balls.
Oh, well, yeah. The Wiederstein popped right out of that stance, and boy, she had that ball pegged.
She did, and that was just a little popper, and like you said, she was able to get to it. She's got speed, as we know, a state qualifier in the 100, 200. So here we go. It'll be Schroeder at the plate for the Trojans, a third baseman for Atlantic. No score. We're at the top of the second. Goshorn, the left-handed hurler, will get set to go. Here's the pitch. Outside, the count is 1-0. Top of the second inning. Claire Schroeder getting 200. Just 3 hits, 15 at bats so far in this young season through 5 games. Atlantic 4-1. They won 4 in a row after that setback on the opener against Missouri Valley. There's a strike on the outside corner. 1-1 the count to Schroeder. Claire has struck out a couple of times so far this season. Walked 3 times. Has one sacrifice as well. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. The count is 1-2. Boy, I'm impressed with Goshorn, the way she's getting the ball in the corners.
She's picking her pitches, let's put it that way.
Kenkel, the catcher for Harlan Community. Top of the second, no score. Cyclones on the defense. Goshorn in the circle. Cameron to Goshorn. And the pitch coming in high for ball, now 2-2. On deck for Atlantic, Jillian Satoff, the first baseman for the Trojans. Top of the second inning, and a windy, warm afternoon here in Harlan. We have 2 here tonight for you. This one and the nightcap. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. And Goshorn gets the strikeout. Her first K. And that'll bring up Jill Satoff, the first base person for Atlantic. Satoff hitting 267, 4 hits on the year. 4 of 11 for Satoff, the first base person. Right-handed batter against the lefty, Cameron Goshorn. Goshorn's retired 4 straight so far. Here's the pitch coming in. That one's low and away for a ball. The count is 1-0. On deck for Atlantic, Peyton McLaren. Atlantic hitting 4, 5, and 6 here in the frame.
Trojans just need to be patient. They've been swinging some things they usually don't swing at.
1-0 pitches coming into Satoff. Here's the Fire. There's a high fly ball, left field, back, and Wagner has a pop out of her glove. Satoff is cruising into second base with a stand-up. It'll be an error in left field, and Wagner had to go a ways to get it, but that popped right out of her mitt there, and the Trojans have their first base runner via the air.
That's a tough catch.
And that was a deep fly ball by Satoff. It was a tough play, and the ball was... Wind was carrying it as well. That's hard to judge. Another burst of wind here. Satoff at second for Atlantic. 1 on and 1 out. No score with the top of the second inning. McLaren, the batter. Payton, the right-handed hitter against Goshaw on the lefty. Satoff set at second. Here's the pitch coming in. Just missed high, and the count is 1-0. You're getting the swirl over there, Rogers. It's going through your mic there, and we'll work with that. Right-handed hitter Payton McLaren. We're getting gusts of wind here. 1-0 the count. Here's the pitch coming. That's just a strike on the outside edge. She got it, too. Good call by home plate umpire. Count is 1-1. Payton McLaren, a right-handed batter against the lefty, Goshorn. Satoff at second base for Atlantic here in the top of the second. No score. Atlantic with the first base runner. Goshorn's 1-1 pitch. Low and away. And the count is 2 balls and a strike. On deck for the Trojans, McKenna Sontag, the second baseman, the senior for Atlantic. 2-1 the count. Payton McLaren. Goshorn a long look in. Here's the pitch on the way. That's low and away. 3-1 hitters count for Payton McLaren with Satoff at second base for Atlantic.
She's got to be patient on this one.
McLaren so far 3 of 16 so far in the year. She scored a couple of runs. 3 balls and a strike. Satoff at second. No score. Top of the second, 1 out. The pitch. Outside ball 4. Now the Trojans have 2 on. An error and a walk. And here's the Sontag for Atlantic, the senior. Second base person for the Trojans. McKenna hitting .364. She's off to a good start. 4 of 11, 3 singles, a double, and 1 RBI. She has a chance here with 2 on and 1 out here at the top of the second.
Can I cheer?
Yeah, you can. That's Rogers' granddaughter. The pitch is low and away. 1-0 the count. Be hard not to, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I get it. I don't usually say much.
1-0 the count to Sontag. 1 out. Here in the top of the second inning. Satoff at second base. Running at first. Payton McLaren. Here's the pitch to Sontag. Shows butts. Gets one right down in front of her. Picked up by Goshorn. Fires the first for the other. Gets by the first base person. Goshorn. Satoff scores. Atlantic up 1-0. So a throwing error. And the Trojans have scored a couple of runs on a couple of errors here. Sontag did lay down a nice bunt.
I'll tell you what, that was a good-looking bunt. I mean, that's a routine play most of the time, and we just Trojans got the benefit from it.
McLaren goes to third. McKenna Sontag advances to a second base, and that'll bring up Schrader for the Trojans. McKenna Schrader, the center fielder for Atlantic, now with 2 on, 1 out and 1 in. Atlantic up 1-0 here in the top of the second inning.
Got all these buttons I got to keep pushing.
Here's the pitch coming in. The bunt shown again. Gets away. Here comes the runner from third. Atlantic up 2-0. McLaren scores from third base. And the Trojans take a 2-0 lead here in the top of the second. And McKenna Sontag alertly scurries to third for the Trojans.
Well, that was one of the things that was interesting when we went to Ballard. I bet the 4 out of the first 5 batters bunted.
Yeah.
She was going to play small ball, and Trojans took care of business. That was the thing.
Schrader, the batter for Atlantic, with Sontag at third. 2-0 Trojans, 1 out. She shows bunt 2, and it's a strike call.
Yep.
Schrader, a right-handed hitter. 3 for 16 here early on. The junior center fielder for Atlantic had a nice play back in the first. Runner at third is Sontag. Atlantic up 2-0 on the Seed Pro scoreboard. Count is 1 ball and 1 strike. Here's the pitch outside for a ball. Count is 2-1. Playing 2 here today in Harlan. Hawkeye 10 doing a little different this year. Last year was doubleheaders with the South teams.
Right.
This year the North teams play the doubleheader.
Okay.
Atlantic already with 1 doubleheader under their belt. That was Dennis and Sleswig over the weekend. 1-2 pitch, high and in. 3-1 the count. 1 on, 1 out, 2 in. Atlantic up 2-0 here at the top of the second. Schrader the batter and Adler Bruce the senior left fielder on deck for the Trojans here in the top of the second. Goshorn will get back to work here, the lefty for Harlan Community. 3-1 the count. Here's the pitch. Swung on and lifted high left side. That's going to drop foul down the left field line. The count goes full of 3 balls and 2 strikes. Schrader back to the box. Schrader's 16 plate appearances. He has 3 hits so far this season. All 3 are singles. 1 RBI for Schrader. Struck out just a couple of times and walked once in this young season. 3-2 the count. Runner at third. The pitch. Swung on, a tapper towards a hole. Snagged by Mance. Fires the first. Not in time. Infield single for Schrader.
That was a single.
And an RBI as Sontag scores from third. Atlantic up 3-0. And Schrader gets an infield hit for the Trojans. Adler Bruce will stand in.
Hey, I mean, good hit. Way to hustle it out. Score the run. I just got to put the bat on the ball on that one, and you get an RBI out of it.
Well, Mans showed some good range and kept that ball in the infield at least and kept the runner at first base. Here's the pitch. Bunt popped up, and it's caught by Kinkel. And there's 2 down for the Trojans now.
Heads up play by Schrader.
Here in the second inning. So Kinkel with the catch.
Seeing that bunt pop up and not taking off.
1 on, 2 down, 3 in. Atlantic up 3-0, top of the second inning. Lila Wiederstein will stand in, the leadoff hitter for Atlantic, and a dangerous hitter, batting .474. A couple of home runs for Wiederstein. Only 1 RBI, which it cannot be right with 2 home runs on the sheet. Strike called to Wiederstein.
That was a ball.
Oh,
should have been a strike.
My bad.
She should have took that one out of the park.
1-0 the count. Wiederstein maybe taken all the way there.
But I'm sitting here at an angle. So.
Goshorn, the sign from Kenkel brings the pitch. Swung on and hit high to right center. Back. It is gone. A home run for Wiederstein. Kaylor Smith chased it to the wall and had to watch it sail over dead center. And Wiederstein with a 3rd home run of the year. And Atlantic up 5-0 with 5 runs here in the top of the second inning.
I'll tell you what, when that came off the bat, it didn't look like it's going to have enough oomph to get there, but looking at the flag, it probably had a little bit of help.
So Schrader will score after infield single. Schrader had an RBI as well in this frame. Atlantic will send Dylan Ball to the plate, the 8th hitter to appear for Atlantic here in the top of the second up 5-0. With Zoe Kirchhoff on deck, and that thing got way up in the air. And I think, like you said, the wind might have picked that up.
It just didn't sound like it come off the bat as well as sometimes I've seen it like a rocket come off of there.
200 feet to dead center field. That's exactly where Wiederstein tagged that pitch.
Hey, I can even tell you, that's 210.
That's 210,
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see the sign.
I could see the 2.
Yep, 210.
I never did do good at the DMV. It's like,
and I got to ride with you all the way up here.
Yeah, that's right. So, can you read that bottom line? I said, can you? Let me see you do it. There's the pitch. With a grin on my face.
Yep.
Strike called. I can guess.
Yes.
I can give you the first number. That's a 2, Roger. We know that.
Yep.
Strike called to ball. Nobody on, 2 down, 5 in. Change up is swung on and missed. A good pitch by Cameron Goshorn. The count goes 0-2. Zoe Kirchhoff on deck for Atlantic. Number 8 to hit here in the frame. Right-handed hitter Dylan Ball. And I got to say hello to Richie Anderson. Hello. There's a line drive picked up by Mance. She'll gut it to first. It gets the out. Mance a pretty solid shortstop, and she gets a 6-3. And that'll be it. But the Trojans score 5 runs in that frame on 2 hits. a couple of Cyclone errors, and Atlantic leaves no one. They're up 5-0 after 1.5. We're back right after these at 95.7 FM and our live video stream, westerniowatoday.com, powered by Nishnanet.
Looking for the ultimate place to host your party? It's time to roll into the Super Bowl on Highway 71 in Atlantic, the place to celebrate birthdays, family nights, or even date nights. Glow Bowling lights up your Friday and Saturday nights. We've got bumpers and ramps for the kiddos, and plenty of lanes for the grown-ups' bragging rights. Whether you're here to compete or just kick back and relax, the Super Bowl is where memories are made. Call Dan at 243-4656 to book your party today. The Super Bowl in Atlantic. Let the good times roll.
Gas prices got you down? Need a ride to work or the grocery store? There's public transportation for everyone in Southwest Iowa. SWITA offers taxi service in Atlantic, Glenwood, Harlan, Missouri Valley, Red Oak, and Shenandoah. $2.50 each way or $2 for seniors 60 years and older. Just call 1-800-842-8065 or visit swita.com to schedule your ride.
Trojans scored 5 runs in the top of this frame. They lead 5-0 for the Cyclones. Cameron Goshorn, the pitcher. Left-handed batter will hit. Susie Kinkle, then Carly Goshorn for the Cyclones. 4, 5, and 6 for Harlan Community. Zoe Kirchhoff. Back to work. The junior fires. That's a pitch on the outside corner. What a beauty. That has some movement on it, too. A little spinner. Outside edge would have won the count to Cameron Goshorn here in the bottom half of number 2. 5-0 Trojans.
Well, that wind can affect the pitcher, too, so.
The pitch, low and away in the dirt. Count 1 ball and 1 strike to Cameron. The pitcher for the Cyclones. Cameron 2 of 12 so far in this young season. Harlan 1 and 3. They're come off a win over Denison Sleswig. The pitch swung off the handle. That one's going to skip off the top of the net on the backstop and go out of play behind the press box.
We got to pay attention, don't we?
Yeah, we do. We don't have any protection or batting helmet here either. Mr. Wheatley to my right, maybe he'll protect us here a little bit. You scoot over a little closer. He's the guy that gets the players here, you see. Oh, what a changeup by Kirchhoff. And it handcuffed Goshorn. That one just came to us.
I tell you, that one actually had arc on it coming in, and it just dropped into the strike zone.
First strikeout for Kirchhoff. She caught Cameron Goshorn looking, and that was a tough one for Goshorn to hit anyway.
I kind of think that it surprised the umpire, too.
Yeah. 1 out for the Cyclones, bottom half of number 2. Here's Susie Kinkle, the catcher for Harlan Community. 5-0 Atlantic. Here's the pitch. That's a strike right down Broadway. And the count is 0-1 to Kinkle. Right-handed batter for Harlan Community. Hitting .273. Kinkle 3 of 11 on the season. Atlantic up 5-0. We're in the bottom half of the second. The pitch swung on, it popped straight back. And Kirchhoff working ahead 0-2. She's facing her 5th batter here in this game number 1 and really has not been behind yet, Roger.
No. Well, that was one thing, like I said, the last game I watched was up at Ballard, and she didn't put anybody on, and that's a big deal.
The pitch at the dirt, the count is 1-2. A lot of movement. Atlantic has some depth of the pitching staff. Certainly Miss Riley Wood, they lost to graduation. What a job she did a year ago, logging the most innings for Atlantic. Here's the 1-2 pitch coming. That one swung on and missed. Strike 3, and Kinkle chased that one out of the zone.
Yep.
Back-to-back Ks for Kirchhoff. Goshorn looking, Kinkle swinging. Carly Goshorn, the batter, now the first base person for Harlan Community. Nobody on, 2 down. And for Kirchhoff, she's retired 5 straight batters. Bottom half of number 2, Atlantic up 5-0. And the pitch by Kirchhoff swung on and tipped foul right side. Count 0-1 to Carly Goshorn, a right-handed batter. Carly on the season, 1 for 10, and she has a couple of runs to her credit here. Atlantic up 5-0 with the bottom of the second inning. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Another great change by Kirchhoff. She had a little grin on her face on that one, too. I mean, that was a beauty.
Well, I tell you what, as a batter, when I've had some of those thrown at me, you just embarrassed because you swing at it and it's like, that was a hell of a pitch.
Yeah, yeah. No balls and 2 strikes. Carly Goshorn. And the pitch swung on, and she fought that one off. Good job by Carly. First base person for the Harlan community. 0-2 the count as Kirchhoff working ahead again. Atlantic back in action on Tuesday, Thursday. Doubleheader Friday. And a tournament on Saturday. 0-2 the count. Nobody on, 2 down for Harlan. Bottom of second. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. Another changeup, and that'll be it. Oop, don't check that. Just strike number 2.
She tipped it.
So
and Lila didn't catch it.
So 0-2. Still. Would have been the third out. Goshorn able to stay alive with that tip foul. We'll see what Kirchhoff brings back here. That change is working, and she's thrown it about 4 times. Here's the pitch. Swung on, tip foul right towards the first base dugout. 0-2 the count. Nobody on, 2 down for Harlan community.
I think 0-2. She's going to come with a heater and get her striking out.
If Carly Goshorn gets on, Aubrey Arkfeld is on deck for Harlan. Bottom of second, 5-0 Atlantic. The pitch. Swung on and missed, and Kirchhoff strikes out the side. Atlantic up 5-zip. We go to the third inning. We're back right after these.
Here in your Atlantic Hy-Vee Garden Center.
Stein delivers more new genetics faster. Our focus on delivering higher yielding genetics faster than the competition is why we have released more new Enlist E3 lines in the past 5 years than any other seed company. For elite genetics paired with simple, flexible, and effective weed control, plant Stein Enlist E3 soybeans. Stein has yield. 45 years of yield. Learn more at...
Get ready for a fresh start at Greg Young Atlantic. Our Greg Young Fresh Start program helps you hit the road with confidence, overcome credit challenges with personalized financing, and a wide selection of great vehicles. Visit us today to find your brand new Chevy, GMC, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, or Ram. Or check out our huge pre-owned selection at GregYoungAtlantic.com and GregYoungCDJRAtlantic.com. And to apply. Don't miss out on this incredible offer. Here at Greg Young, we go the extra mile for you.
Atlantic up 5-0. We go to the top of the third inning. The Trojans sent 8 to the plate in the second. They scored 5 runs on 2 hits. Wiederstein a 2-run homer. McKenna Schrader had an RBI single and a couple of really nice plays. McKenna Sontag had a great bunt that drove in a run for the Trojans as well. So here we go, Atlantic. Leading off with Zoe Kirchhoff, hitting .706 on the year. Round out the first time up. 5-0 Atlantic with the top of the third inning. Cameron Goshorn to go to work. Here's the pitch. That one's inside for a ball. The count is 1-0. With Kirchhoff, as we mentioned, she's tied for 4th in 3A in this young season through 5 games and batting averages at .706. 12 of 17. She's now 12 of 18 with that ground ball her first time up. That one's high and away. The count is 1-1. To Zoe Kirchhoff, the 11 RBI for Kirchhoff. 1 walk, struck out just once.
Yeah.
It's pretty good contact by the junior. 2-0 the count to Kirchhoff as Goshorn doesn't want to throw her anything good. And the pitch, swung on and tipped foul on a riser. And the count is 1-2 to Kirchhoff. Atlantic hitting 3, 4, and 5. Claire Schroeder on deck, and then Jill Satoff. Satoff released on an error her first time up, and Schroeder struck out. Goshorn's lone strikeout here in the ball game. We're in the top of the third, 5-0 Atlantic. 2-1. Swung on, hit deep to left. That's back. Say goodbye. Home run for Kirchhoff.
That one sounded a little better. I thought that was going to go.
Kirchhoff hits a home run number 3. And Atlantic up 6-0 on the Seed Pros scoreboard. Top of the third. Kirchhoff the leadoff home run for Atlantic. And that's RBI number 11 for the junior. And her second home run of the season. Second home run of the season for Kirchhoff. What a shot. Claire Schroeder at the plate for Atlantic, the third base person for the Trojans here at the top of the third. Trojans up 6-0. They've scored those 6 runs now on 3 hits. 2 loud ones, a home run by Wiederstein, and now this home run by Kirchhoff, pitches high to Schroeder. That one, you could just hear it hit the sweet spot of that bat.
Yep,
huh?
it did.
1-0 the count. Schroeder the plate. Satoff on deck for Atlantic. Lefty Goshorn set to go to work. Here's the 1-0 pitch coming in. That's ball high. 2-0 the count to Schroeder. Right-handed batter for Atlantic. She's walked 3 times this season. 3 RBI for Schroeder. Right-handed hitter sets up in the front of the batter's box on the right side. Lefty against righty here. Here's the 2-0 pitch on the way. High for ball 3. 3-0 the count. Goshorn with a strikeout and a walk so far. Trojans have scored 6 runs on 3 hits. 2 Cyclone errors. And that occurred in that 5-run second.
Yep.
3-0 pitch coming up to Schroeder. Here's the pitch coming in, ball 4. Schroeder walks his second base on balls, get up by Goshorn. 6-0 Atlantic, 1 on, nobody down. And 1 in after Kirchhoff's dinger. Satoff at the plate, scored her last time up. Right-handed hitter. Satoff scored her first run of the season back in that second inning. Goshorn goes to work with 1 on, nobody down. There's a line drive foul.
I'll tell you what.
Mr. Hinsman had to lean back.
She hammered that one.
she straightens that one out. It's going to go in that Little League field.
Yeah, that was a solid hit.
Joe Satoff is sophomore first base person for Atlantic. 0-1 the count. Runner at first is Claire Schroeder. Here's the pitch by Goshorn. Swing and a miss. There's a changeup by Goshorn. Well, you talk about Kirchhoff, and how about that one?
That was a pretty pitch.
Ooh. 0-2 the count. Goshorn ahead of Jill Satoff. Top of the 3rd, Atlantic up 6-0, 1 on, and nobody down. Hammer to Goshorn, the sign from Kenkel brings the pitch outside. Good eye by Satoff. Count 1-2. She's able to hold off on that change as well.
I'll tell you what, sometimes you got to, those are almost too close to let go. Protect the plate.
Goshorn set to go. 1 ball and 2 strikes, and she'll wing it in. Here it is. Swung on deep left field.
That one's over the fence.
That one may go. And it is gone. Satoff, a 2-run homer for Atlantic. Jill Satoff.
That one got out of here in a hurry.
What a shot by Satoff. And now Atlantic up 8-0 on the Seed Pro scoreboard. Jill Satoff, her first home run of the year, a 2-run homer. Atlantic with 3 home runs here in this ball game. We're in the top of the 3rd, 8-0. What a shot!
I'll tell you
home runs in the frame.
That one was just exactly like her first one, except this one stayed in play.
Atlantic scored 5 runs in the second and 3 more here in the 3rd. 3 home runs for Atlantic. Wiederstein has a 2-run homer. Kirchhoff a solo shot, and now Satoff, it's a 2-run homer for Atlantic. And that, like you said, that one took off.
That one, they didn't get very high.
Coach Cron out talking to Cameron Goshorn in his infield as the wind continues to whip the south. Atlantic's been able to take advantage of that, I think, in a couple of cases here.
Oh, absolutely. I'll tell you what, Goshorn, she's pitching a nice game. It's just the Trojans have been able to connect on some of them.
She shot Atlantic down 3 up and 3 down the first. The Trojans sent 8 batters to the plate in the second, but they were aided by a couple of errors.
And that hurt because that makes you start doubting things, and then once the gates open, then it's kind of tough to get them closed.
Atlantic had a RBI single by McKenna Schrader. Sontag had an RBI bunt and a 2-run homer by Wiederstein in that frame. Meeting over, and Cameron will stay in for the Cyclones. We're in the top of the 3rd, 8-0 Trojans. And Peyton McLaren at the plate. They've changed some things around. It's now a 10-run rule after 4 innings.
I was going to ask you about that.
8 runs after 5 and 6.
Okay. The college rule is 8.
Yes. Here's the pitch. Inside for a ball. Nobody on and nobody down for Atlantic. We're in the top of the 3rd inning. The Trojans up big here, 8-0 with Peyton McLaren at the plate for the Trojans. He walked and scored back in the 2nd inning. Peyton McLaren scoring her 3rd run of the season for Atlantic. Here's the 1-0 pitch from Cameron to Goshorn on the way. Swing and a miss. Count 1-1. That one tailed outside, and Peyton McLaren went to fishing for it. They play her straight away in center. Caitlin Schmitz, Lauren Schmitz in right, Aubrey Wagner in left. McLaren back in, a right-handed hitter, Goshorn waiting for her. The lefty now looks into Kinkle. Here's the 1-1 pitch, high for a ball. Count goes to 2-1 to Peyton McLaren. Baden with 3 hits, 3 of 17 on the season. And the 2-1 pitch coming in. Here it is, outside, ball 3. 3-1 the count. Harlan has several that can throw.
Yep, you can be choosy on this one.
Hitters count.
Just make contact.
Peyton McLaren, 3 balls and a strike. Second pitch forthcoming. Nobody out for Atlantic. Here's the pitch on the way. That's a strike and a beauty. 3-1 to McLaren. On deck, McKenna Sontag, who reached on an error and scored. McLaren back in, 3 balls and 2 strikes. 8-0 Atlantic. Top of the third, nobody down. Goshorn the side. Here's the pitch. Swung on, pop foul. Now the count goes to 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Keep battling.
Atlantic 8 runs in the ball game so far on 1, 2, 3, 4 hits. 3-2 the count. McLaren at the plate. Goshorn will go back to work as the wind dies down. And the 3-2 pitch. Swung on, ripped.
There's another one.
That one's sailing. That one's gone.
That one's gone.
Say goodbye. It hits the top of the batting cage, and that's the 4th home run for Atlantic in the ball game as Peyton McLaren, who had a handful of dingers last season, hits a solo shot, the 3rd home run of the inning, and that is impressive.
That one was. That was.
Man, oh man. 9-0 Trojans. Peyton McLaren, did she get a cut on that?
Yeah, she got a cut on that one.
And it to hit the top of the batting cage out in left field.
I will be the first to say that was the farthest one we've had tonight.
No doubt about it. So Peyton with her first home run of the season, and that was her 2nd RBI, a solo shot for McLaren, and we've got a change in the circle. We'll take a timeout as we have a new pitcher for Harlan Community. Atlantic up 9-0. Top of the 3rd with nobody down. We're back right after these.
Southwest Iowa Transit Agency helps all residents in our
At Oak Point Wealth Management, we're embracing new changes to better serve you. As an independent wealth manager, I'm excited to partner with LPL Financial, bringing you comprehensive tools and resources backed by personalized service and dynamic technology. My focus remains on helping you achieve your financial goals with integrity and care. Visit oakpointwealth.com or call me, Erin Friend, at 712-207-3521 to learn more.
Visit www.oakpointwealth.com, 712-207-3521 to learn more about how Oak Point Wealth Management can help you pursue your financial goals.
Atlantic Ag and Auto, your locally owned CarQuest Auto Parts store, is seeking help to fill a part-time or possibly full-time position. While experience in retail parts is preferred, it is not a deal breaker. The ideal candidate should have entry-level computer skills and be comfortable working with the public and having some fun while doing it. If you have excellent customer service skills, a valid driver's license, and a history of reliability, we would like to hear from you. Atlantic Ag and Auto is an equal opportunity employer located at 716 West 7th Street here in Atlantic.
The Cyclones, and it's going to be Rebecca Christensen in the circle for Harlan Community, a right-hander for the Cyclones. Atlantic's 4 runs here at the top of the 3rd, and 3 home runs for the Trojans. They lead 9-0. Here's the pitch on the way. Fastball is high and away for ball 1. McKenna Sontag, the senior for the Trojans, at the plate. Sontag scored her last time up, scored her first run of the season. Gets set for the second pitch. Atlantic scored 5 in the second, 4 in the 3rd. Christensen the side from Kinkle. Here's the pitch coming. Swung on a base hit.
Nice hit.
In the hole in left field. Sontag rounds first. And she'll stay
go to
there.
second.
Now she's going to go to second base on the throw.
Second baseman didn't pick it up. She was paying attention.
So a single for Sontag. A nice tag for her. And Atlantic has a runner at second base with nobody down and 4 in at the top of the third inning. A 9-0 lead as McKenna Schrader will stand in. Sontag having a good night at the plate. Second time she's reached base. Here's Schrader singled, an RBI in the second inning. Nobody down. We're in the top of the third. Atlantic up 9-0. Here's the pitch. Swung on. That's into right field. That's going to be over the head. Extra bases. That'll score Sontag from third now as she'll head home. And rounding second, Schrader goes to third. Here's the throw. Now she's in a pickle. She's in a rundown. There's the throw to second. Now she turns and hits for third. Here's the catch at third. Now the tag. I believe she got underneath it. And she did.
It did. She got underneath it.
Schrader will give her a triple.
Is she gonna? Do you call that a triple?
I don't
She didn't
know.
quite make it all right.
We'll call it a double and an RBI. How about that, Roger Warren? But Atlantic up 10-0 on that.
I'm just surprised he stopped that quick.
She just barely got on the tag.
Well, when they threw that last throw, it was high, so she had a chance to get injured.
Sontag scored for Atlantic. 10-0 Trojans. Here's the pitch low and in to Adler Bruce, the ninth hitter in Atlantic's lineup. Trojans in 8 to the plate in the second, and Bruce is the 7th to appear here in this top of the third. Atlantic up 10-0. Second pitch coming in from Christensen. Here it is. That's a strike of beauty by Christensen. Atlantic now with 7 hits in the game. Scored 10 runs and 7 hits, a couple of errors by the Cyclones. At third base, Schrader with the double. Here's the pitch coming in. Swing and a miss. Nice changeup by Christensen. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Still nobody down for Atlantic here in the inning.
I just got to make contact, put the ball in play, and you got an RBI.
Playing 2 here in Harlan tonight at H. Jack Field. Atlantic won 4 in a row. They're 4-1. They're ranked 11th coming into the season. They lost that 9-7 open to Missouri Valley. That's just Ty Hopper to third, scooped up by Hazy. Fires the first, gets away. Another run scores for Atlantic, and Bruce will go to second base. I don't know if she would have beat that out or not. We're going to call it an error, but...
yeah.
Schrader scores from third. A low throw. And now the 8th hitter to appear for Atlantic. Kirchhoff, Schroeder, Satoff, McLaren, Sontag, and McKenna Schrader all scored for Atlantic. They lead 11-0. We're in the top of the third inning with nobody down. The pitch ripped to left center.
One.
That might be out of here. Nope, it hits the fence. Bruce will round third, and she'll cruise to home. And she's in for the 12th run of the ball game. And Wiederstein, who has a 2-run homer, now has an RBI double for Atlantic. 3 RBI for Wiederstein. That makes 4 for her this season, but I'm not sure that's correct in the stats here. She has a couple of home runs on the year. 1 on, nobody down. Atlantic up 12-0. They've scored 7 here in the frame. Change-up is popped up. Right field, that's going to be caught by Caitlin Schmitz in center, tagging to third, Wiederstein. So Dylan Ball flies out.
That was a good hit, though.
For 1 out here in the first inning, and now Zoe Kirchhoff, who started this thing off with a solo home run, will stand in for Atlantic, the 10th hitter to appear in the frame. Atlantic 8. There's 7 runs here in the inning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They lead 12-0. 1 on and 1 out. Christensen in the circle. Here's the pitch coming in, low and in for a ball. Wiederstein at third with that RBI double. Went to third on ball sacrifice. Out in center field. Kirchhoff will stand back in for Atlantic. Now we have a time call. Terry Hinsman. I think he's going to bring in a runner for Wiederstein, maybe.
Yeah, he can do that courtesy runner.
Yeah, so they're getting somebody in. We'll find out who in a minute.
Because that doesn't count as a re-entry or anything like that, since she's a catcher.
Atlantic will have a courtesy runner. Reese Ball, the 8th grader, will be in running for the Trojans at the third base.
Good place to get her in the game.
1-0 the count to Kirchhoff with 1 out here in the top of the third inning. Trojans scored 5 in the second, 7 in the frame. Christensen in the circle for Harlan in relief. Here's the pitch on the way. Swung on, popped up. Man's the shortstop, backpedaling, makes the catch. There's 2 down. So Kirchhoff with a ground out, a home run, and a pop out to short. Avery Mans. And here's Claire Schroeder at the plate with 1 on and 2 down and 7 in for Atlantic. Coach Hisman again going to
Madison McLaren.
So Madison McLaren will bat. Is that what you're saying here, Roger, for Claire Schroeder? So Madison McLaren gets a chance to hit this big inning by Atlantic. So Madison, the youngster at the plate as well. She's just an 8th grader, getting a chance to hit. Younger sister Peyton McLaren. Reese Ball, the runner at third, and Madison McLaren, another 8th grader at the plate. 12-0 Atlantic with the top of the third inning. 1 on and 2 down, 7 in. The pitch, low and in for a ball. The count is 1-0. Harlan has sent 6 to the plate here, and Kirchhoff has a no-no going on so far. Now with a big cushion, 12-0 lead through 2.5. See what Madison McLaren, the youngster, can do here against Christensen. Here's the pitch coming. That's a strike outside corner. Nice pitch by Christensen. And the count goes to 1-1. Here at the top of the third inning. Reese Ball, the runner at third for Wiederstein. Madison McLaren batting for Claire Schroeder. Here's the 1-1 pitch, high for a ball. 2-1 the count to Madison. Schroeder had struck out and walked, and she scored here in this inning on a 2-run homer by Jill Satoff. 2-1 the count to Madison McLaren with Reese Ball at third. And the 2-1 pitch is coming in. Strike called, a beauty by Christensen. Now it's 2-2 with 2 down. Cyclones would love to get out of this frame. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Atlantic scored 7 runs here in the top of the third. Christensen looks, gets a sign, wings in the 2-2 pitch, popped up. Second base is Arkfeld, makes the catch for Harlan Community. And that'll be it for the Trojans. A big inning for Atlantic. They send 11 to the plate. They score 7 runs on 3 home runs, a single and a double on 6 hits, 2 doubles, in fact, in the frame for Atlantic. Home runs by Kirchhoff, Satoff, a 2-run homer. Peyton McLaren had a solo shot for Atlantic, a 2 RBI double for McKenna Schrader and Lila Wiederstein. And McKenna Sontag had a single for Atlantic in the frame. We go to the bottom of the third. Atlantic up 12-0. We're back right after these.
Mouth-watering deal from... Hey there, this is Tanner from your Atlantic Hy-Vee, and I've got some exciting news to share. Thanks to your feedback, we're currently rated the friendliest Hy-Vee in the entire company. That's a huge honor, and on behalf of the whole team, thank you to everyone who's taken time to share their thoughts. Did you know you can leave feedback too? Just check the link on the bottom of your Hy-Vee receipt or in your email after a purchase. Whether it's a compliment or constructive criticism, I love reading your surveys and making sure we're always improving. And as always, thank you for shopping your Atlantic Hy-Vee.
Third inning, and the Cyclones need some base runners. They're down 12-0. And the pitcher for Atlantic, Zoe Kirchhoff, retired the first 6 Cyclone hitters. Aubrey Arkfeld to the plate for Harlan Community. And then Caitlin Schmitz and Lauren Smith, 7, 8, and 9 to bat for Harlan as Kirchhoff will get set.
Well, here's the where you don't take your foot off the gas.
And the pitch is swung on and missed. To Arkfeld, the 7th hitter in the Cyclone lineup. Atlantic scored 5 in the second, 7 at the top of this inning. Arkfeld, a right-handed batter. Here's the pitch coming in. Low and in. Count goes to 1-1 to Aubrey Arkfeld. Well, she's been able to get on base about 41% of the time so far this season. She's 2 for 14 on the year. 1-1 pitch on the way, swung on and tipped foul. Count goes to 1-2. Zoe Kirchhoff forced a fly ball, a couple of grounders in the first, and struck out the side in the middle of the Harlan order in the second inning. Atlantic up 12-0. We're in the bottom half of the third. Kirchhoff in the circle for
I'm guessing changeup.
Boy, she had those working last inning. That's a fastball swung on and missed, and she
threw
got
the heater.
4 straight strikeouts now for Kirchhoff. And Kaylin Schmitz, the batter, with nobody on and 1 out for Harlan. Here in the bottom half of the third inning, Atlantic up 12-0. Next broadcast coming up at the end of the week, we'll have the Esterville-Lincoln Central Atlantic game at 3:30, and then the nightcap with Carlisle, a couple of really good teams and rated teams. Here's the pitch coming. That's a strike to Catherine Schmitz. Center fielder for Harlan Community, a right-handed batter. Nobody on and 1 out for Harlan, 12-0 Atlantic. Schmitz stands back in, and Kirchhoff, who is retired to 7 straight, goes to work. Here's the 0-1 pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. 0-2 the count. Boy, Kirchhoff has been sharp.
She chased that one a little bit, but they really want to hit the ball. It's just got to make contact.
Here's the 0-1-0-2 pitch coming in, high for a ball. 8th hitter, Kaylin Schmitz for the Cyclones, a right-handed batter, hitting 167. She has 2 hits and 12 at-bats. A double and a single for Schmitz. Here's the 1-1 pitch, swung on a tapper. Third base side, Schroeder guns it out.
Nice play.
5-3, Schroeder at third. Picked up that slow roller and rifled to first base for the out. And now Kirchhoff is retired 8 straight. Cyclones hitter is Lauren Schmitz here in the bottom half of the third. Atlantic up 12-0 on the Seed Pros scoreboard. Schmitz, a right-handed hitter. Kirchhoff in the circle for Atlantic and brings the pitch. Here it is. Low for a ball. Count is 1-0 to the 9th hitter of the Cyclone lineup, Lauren Schmitz. Lauren hitting .250. She's got a couple of hits and 8 at-bats so far this season for the Cyclones. We're at H. Jack Field here in Harlan Community with the wind, I think, dying down a little bit, Roger.
You still watch the flag out there. It's still not too bad.
It's waving at you pretty good, but that pitch is fought off for a foul right side. Directly out of the south, Atlantic with, they have 5 home runs. I've never had to count home runs. 1, 2, 3, 4 home runs. Man, oh man, and they've been shot. So I think we got to give McLaren and Satoff.
Yeah.
They have to battle that one out for who had the loudest homer. Ground ball second. Scooped up by McKenna Sontag, the senior.
You bet.
With the out. 3 up and 3 down for Harlan Community. Atlantic will go to bat in the top of the 4th with a big lead. They lead 12-0 back after these.
There's nothing better than the rolling hills, crops, and pasture here in Iowa.
At Seed Pros, our mission is to be your business partner every day of every season.
Pioneer Hybrid International was founded in Iowa back in 1926 and is still American today. Not many other seed providers can make that claim.
We partner with you to continually push the limits by combining elite seed genetics, local infield knowledge, along with customer service second to none.
We are with you from the word go. Contact Mark Van Tiger, Gary Dinkla, Nick Knudsen, or John Becker to partner with a team that puts your business needs first.
Back to Harlan is Christensen pitching in relief. Back in the circle for Harlan Community. And for Atlantic, they'll have Jillian Saytop.
No, we got some switches here.
We're going to have some pinch hitters here for Atlantic. If they can hold Harlan in the bottom half of the frame, they'll end this game with the 12 runs. So we've got a bunch of pinch hitters coming up for the Trojans here. Game number 1, Atlantic scored 5 runs in the second, 7 in the third. And we're going to have a handful of new hitters for Saytop, McLaren, Sontag here in this top of the 4th inning. Atlantic up 12-0 on the Seed Pro scoreboard. Coach O'Hara coming up to talk to Coach Hensman. Still waiting. I don't know where the home plate umpire. He's over
He's over making the switches. And
let's go back and recap. Atlantic went down in order. Gosh, went off to a good start as Wiederstein flew out to the left. The ball ground out. Kirchhoff ground out. But in that second inning, boy, they got the bats a-cranking. Claire Schroeder struck out to start the inning. But then Jill Satoff reached in an error. Peyton McLaren walked. McKenna Sontag laid down a beautiful bunt, got an RBI, and reached on an error, throwing her at first. Then McKenna Schrader had an RBI single. Adler Bruce popped up, and then a 2-out home run for Wiederstein, a 2-run homer. And Atlantic scored 5 runs in that frame. And they added 7 more in the third. Here we go. The pitch by Christensen. That's a strike on the outside edge. So Reese Ball, I believe, is going to be the batter.
Name escaped me. I know Dylan. But.
Yeah, Dylan is your right fielder who started the game. Reese, who ran in the last frame, is batting a lefty against a righty thrower. That pitch is swung on a chopper. She's rushing down the first base line. Nobody there. An infield single for Reese Ball. Nobody there covering, and Ball was able to get down the line. And Atlantic has a 1-on, and nobody down here at the top of the 4th inning.
That's counted as a hit.
And we give her a single. Atlantic with 8 hits here, and Bryn Lamp, I believe, is going to be your batter.
Yep.
Bryn had a nice outing pitching against Denison Sleswig on Saturday, adding some depth to that pitching staff for Atlantic. That was a strike on the outside corner. Count is 0-1 to Bryn Lamp. Looks like McKenna Sontag will bat for the Trojans for herself, and she's been on base twice. And her RBI bunt, reached an error and singled. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Lamp, 1-on, nobody down, Atlantic up 12-0. That went slice foul and out of play. 1 ball and a strike, or 0-2 the count to Lamp.
0-2.
Yeah.
She was just a little bit behind on that one. Otherwise, it was the right pitch to swing at.
Sontag has played in just a couple of games. Her first plate appearance of the season. We can see what she can make something out of this first chance. She had her first major start pitching last weekend. That changeup is low. 1-2 the count with Reese Ball, the runner at first base, the 8th grader for Atlantic. Ending at 6 o'clock. We'll play 2 here. Second game coming up after this one, scheduled for 7 o'clock, but I think it might be possibly a little bit earlier than that. We'll see.
I don't say those things.
Here's the 1-2 pitch on the way. High for a ball. 2-2 the count to Bryn Lamp with McKenna Sontag on deck for the Trojans. Here in the top of the 4th inning, Atlantic up 12-0. Christensen taking over the pitching duties for Cameron Goshorn. Christensen in the circle. 2-2 pitch coming in, change up, just missed away, full count, 3-2. Be interested to see who Coach Cron goes with in game number 2. As I mentioned, Goshorn had a good start. 3 balls and 2 strikes as the wind picks up again. A strong wind. That pitch is dribbled down the third baseline, foul.
Just stayed foul.
So Reese Ball will have to go back to first, and Bryn Lamp stays alive at the plate for Atlantic.
That's one of those, if it hit the right rock, it might come back in.
Atlantic 4 home runs in the game. Wiederstein with a dinger. Zoe Kirchhoff with a home run. Jill Satoff with a home run. Pay McLaren with a home run. A couple of doubles. Wiederstein and Schrader have doubles here. 3-2 pitch to Lamp. Swung on and fouled straight back.
Good battle.
Good at bat for Lamp. In her first plate appearance of the season. Atlantic opened up the week against Missouri Valley. Admo Valley lost 9-7. The Big Reds had a home run in the bottom half, I believe, of the 5th. And won that one. That was a tight battle all the way through. And then the Trojans able to come back and beat Glenwood and Ballard and Denison doubleheader. 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strikeout for Christensen.
Got her.
So Lamp strikes out, batting for Fade McLaren. Here comes McKenna Sontag, senior for Atlantic, a rod-headed batter with 1 on and 1 out. Atlantic up 12-0. We're in the top of the 4th. And the pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. And the count is 0-1 to Sontag, the senior. Second baseman for Atlantic. Played a little bit of third, I believe, earlier in her career.
Yeah, when she was a sophomore, she was at third.
Moved back to second base. 0-1 the count to the senior. Reese Ball, the 8th grader, on first. There's the pitch. Nice one. Drops in for strike. And Christensen works ahead 0-2 to Sontag in the top of the 4th inning. Lining up 12-0. 12 runs and 8 hits. Sontag, a rod-handed batter. Christensen looks in. And the 0-2 pitch is on the way. Here it is. Swing and a miss. And a strikeout for Christensen back-to-back. And now there's 2 down for Atlantic here at the top of the 4th. And it's going to be
McKenna Schrader batting. McKenna, 2 for 2, a single, a double, and 2 RBI for Atlantic. And the pitch coming in, swung on and fouled straight back. I've got her down where number 7. It's yep,
or
she's
number 1.
McKenna's number 1.
Well, I forgot the crossbar.
McKenna Sontag.
I had her down as 1, and I forgot the crossbar.
Oh, yep.
There we go. I told you I had trouble with the DMV.
Yeah.
But I do know it's 210 out there in center. You made that right.
Yeah.
Instructor. 12-0, Atlantic with the lead here in the top of the 4th. Here's the 0-1. Swing and a foul ball. 0-2 to McKenna Schrader chasing 1. Schrader with, as I mentioned, a single, a double, 2 RBI. And McKenna picks up her 5th hit of the season. She's now 5 of 18. She came in hitting 188. She's going to elevate that over 200. And she picked up RBI. There's a ground ball base hit. She's 3 for 3 right field. Reese Ball will hurry to second base.
Good throw in.
So 3 hits for Schrader here. And now she has 6 hits, 6 of 19 for Schrader on the year. That'll make a big difference in her average. 12-0 Atlantic, 2 on and 2 down here in the top of the 4th inning. And Adler, let's see, Adler Bruce will stand in for the Trojans. Mr. Conover, the home plate umpire, getting that bat out of the road.
Well, Wiederstein's up after Adler, so.
Yeah, we'll see. Nobody's there in the on-deck circle yet. Wiederstein was run for. We're going to have a pinch hitter for Wiederstein.
Oh, yep.
Here's the pitch to Bruce, high and away. The count is 1-0. Reese Ball at second base. McKenna Schrader, who's 3 for 3 with a couple of singles and a double, is first for Atlantic. Bruce, the 9th hitter of the Trojan lineup, popped up and reached on an error. Here's the pitch by Christensen. That's a strike. 1-1 the count to Adler Bruce, the senior. Left fielder for Atlantic. Reese Ball at second. McKenna Schrader at first base. Atlantic up 12-0. We're in the top of the 4th. Here's the pitch on the way by Christensen. It's going to be swung on and hit up the middle. Taken by the second base person. Nice play by Arkfeld. She went on a 4-6. The shortstop covering second to get the force. And that'll be it for Atlantic. No runs on 2 hits. No errors and a left 1. Through 3.5, Atlantic up 12-0 on the Seed Pros scoreboard. We're back in a minute.
We're embracing new changes to better serve you. As an independent...
At Rolling Hills Bank and Trust, we're not just a bank. We're your neighbors. We've been dedicated to our communities for over 35 years. From real estate and ag loans to personal and commercial banking, we offer a full range of financial services tailored to meet your needs. We believe in giving back and being involved in the communities we serve. Stop into one of our 12 convenient locations or visit us at rollinghillsbank.com.
Olson's Outdoor Power is your one-stop service and equipment shop for all things outdoor. We sell the best power sports products in the business, from Polaris, Can-Am, Sea-Doo, and Ski-Doo, trailers to tackle any job from H&H, Triton, and Wilson, and we continue to lead the way in lawn and garden equipment with great products from Exmark, Dixie Chopper, Husqvarna, Cub Cadet, Steel, and Echo. Add factory-trained technicians in 2 locations, and it's easy to see why Olson's Outdoor Power is the leader in all things outdoor. Olson's Outdoor Power, your one-stop service and equipment shop with locations in Atlantic and Carroll.
Nothing. If they close this out and stay up by 8 runs anyway, this thing it'll be over with. Here's the pitch coming in. That's strike cold on the inside edge to Avery Mance, Abry Wagner, Taylor Hazy to bat for the Cyclones here in the bottom half of the 4th inning. 1 pitch coming in, swung on, that's fouled straight back. Kirchhoff has worked ahead almost every batter, Roger.
Yep.
This is her 10th. She has a perfect game going. She struck out 4 and one time 4 straight.
What is it, 10 after 4 and then 8 after 5?
They've changed it this year. And 12-0 here. And the pitch coming in.
Good placement.
You are correct. It would be 10 after 4.
Right.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Avery Mance, and Cyclones will try to do something about that here in the bottom half of the 4th. Kirchhoff has been in the groove, and the 1-2 pitch, here it is, swung on, a tapper down the third baseline foul. And she continues to work ahead, and we go back to that second inning when she struck out the side. They were change up after change up.
Yeah.
Last year it was almost like a slow pitch.
Yep.
She's really improved that this season. 1-2 pitch outside, 2-2 the count to Avery Mance, who flew out to center field. McKenna Schrader, her first time up. Man's a right-handed leadoff hitter for Harlan Community. 2 balls and 2 strikes, and the pitch coming in, high ball 3. Well, that's the first time, I believe, we've seen
first full count, I believe.
Kirchhoff fall behind, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Cyclones trying to get a base runner here in the bottom half of the 4th inning. Kirchhoff, a perfect outing so far. He retired the first 9 batters with 4 strikeouts. Here's the pitch, swung on, popped up. Kirchhoff grabs it right back where it came from. And the Trojans 2 outs away here in game number 1. The batter is Aubrey Wagner, ground out to short her first time up. Pate McLaren making the play for Atlantic. Trojans up 12-0. Kirchhoff brings the pitch, change up a strike. Wagner ground out, as I mentioned, to short, and then Taylor Hazy on deck popped up to Wiederstein.
It's almost like slow pitch.
Yeah, he really pulls a string on those change-ups. Here's the 0-1 pitch coming in. Swing and a miss, 0-2. Nobody on, 1 out for Harlan. Bottom of the 4th inning, Atlantic up 12-0. They'd be 2 outs away from sealing the deal here. The pitch, swing and a miss. Another strikeout, number 5 for Kirchhoff. Taylor Hazy, the batter, with nobody on and 2 down here in the bottom half of the 4th inning. Brett Cron walking towards Mr. Conover, home plate umpire. We might have a pinch hitter here, Roger. I believe we do for Harlan Community. This could be Ava Bauman, I believe. Ava Bauman will be the batter. But Bauman will bat for Hazy. Trying to get something going here in the bottom half of the 4th. Atlantic up 12-0. A perfect game by Kirchhoff here. She retired 11 straight, time to get 12 in a row. And the pitch on the way for the junior rolls in for a ball. The count is 1-0. Cameron Goshorn, relief pitcher Christensen is on deck for the Cyclones. Should Taylor Hazy's pinch hitter get on board. Bauman, the batter, swings and it misses. And the count goes to 1-1 to Bauman. Right-handed batter. Kirchhoff, a right-handed thrower. Bauman stands in. Nobody on, 2 down for Harlan. Here's the 1-1 pitch by Kirchhoff. Strike 2 called. 1-2 the count, and the Trojans 1 out away. And boy, Kirchhoff be 1 out away for a perfect game, huh?
Yeah, we're getting closer.
Man, oh man. Kirchhoff with 5 strikeouts.
You know, when you say that, she's going to hit the ball.
Here's the 1-2 pitch on the way. Bauman looks at one low. 2-2 the count to Ava Bauman. It's just her second plate appearance this year. She scored a couple of runs, played in a couple of games. Bauman, a sophomore for Harlan. Here's the 2-2 pitch. It's on the way. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. And what a outing by Kirchhoff as she strikes out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 batters. She retired 12 straight. Cyclones pitched a perfect outing for Atlantic, and the Trojans win game number 1, 12-0 over Harlan Community. We'll be back to wrap up game number 1. We're getting set for game 2 right here on 95.7 FM and our live video stream, WesternIowaToday.com TV, and on YouTube as well. It's all powered by Nishnanet.
There's nothing better than the rolling hills, crops, and pasture here in Iowa.
First Winnie Bank is the longest-standing locally owned bank in Atlantic, and as such, we take pride in how we serve our community. For generations, we have been involved with our customers and their families by getting involved in community events and by supporting technology and teaching financial literacy in our schools. You'll also see our support of athletics on the scoreboards at home events. It's this involvement that allows us to know our customers and their families for generations. First Winnie Bank, the only bank you'll ever need. Member FDIC.
Have you ever heard the saying, people spend their life building wealth and neglecting their health, only to wish they could trade their wealth for better health at the end? This is Dr. Fritz Beyer, and it has now been over 30 years since my first chiropractic adjustment. I still get asked, do you get adjusted? Absolutely. I try to get adjusted at least once a month. I'm 47 now and still try to stay as active as ever. While I do get a few more aches and pains than when I was younger, it feels great to be able to step on the mat and help kids learning to wrestle. Chiropractic has helped me feel young enough to do it. If staying active is part of your future plans, call 254-BODY to get your body back to the basics.
At 2nd Street Auto, it's our mission to get you back on the road fast. And it all starts with free local towing. Once you're back at the shop, we talk you through your car repair with a free and fair estimate. We do everything in-house so you know who's working on your car. Our Hercules tires come with free road hazard repair, free rotation for the life of the tires, and a free alignment check. And nobody can beat our transmission rebuild and repair experts. Brakes, tune-ups, oil changes, preventative maintenance, and service work make 2nd Street your first stop.
Cass Health in Atlantic, Iowa is a nationally recognized hospital, and we are proud of the awards and all of our recent accomplishments. But do you know what drives us to be the very best? You. We're passionate about helping our patients heal and feel their very best at any age and any stage of life. Cass Health, neighbors caring for neighbors.
Zoe Kirchhoff in the circle, Roger Warren. She faced 12 batters, not a base runner allowed. She pitched a perfect game. Kirchhoff had 6 strikeouts out of those 12 hitters that she faced. A tremendous job. We'll start with her.
Well, I'll tell you what, Eddie, like you said, kept people off balance, never got behind except that one we talked about where she was 3-2. And, I mean, yeah, she did her job at the plate, but the fielders did their job. You know, ball comes to you, by God, take care of business.
No doubt about it. Atlantic had home run after home run after home run here. And Wiederstein had a 2-run homer as the Trojans went down in order in the first, but then they got things going in the second. Wiederstein a 2-run homer in that inning. Satoff reached on an error. Peyton McLaren walked, and McKenna Sontag had a beautiful bunt, drove in a run, and also reached on a throwing error. McKenna Schrader had RBI single, and the Trojans scored 5 runs and 2 hits, and they took a 5-0 lead. But it was that third inning then that they added to it, and that was a power inning.
Oh, boy.
Home runs by Kirchhoff, Satoff. McLaren had a home run in that inning. 2 doubles. Schrader had a double RBI. Wiederstein had a double and an RBI. And Kirchhoff scored. Schroeder scored. Satoff with that home run. We had a little bit of a contest. Who had the loudest home run in that?
Well, I'll tell you what. The farthest one was McLaren.
Yeah.
The quickest one to get out was Satoff.
So, but then you got to, Zoe Kirchhoff had a shot. The deepest, though, Wiederstein had one over the 200 foot mark out there.
I'll tell you what, that one of McLaren's was out there beyond the right field fence or left field fence and up on top of the net.
Well, nonetheless, we're going to be between games here. Atlantic 12-0 win over the Harlan Community Cyclones. And in case you did miss it, there's Mr. Satoff. How about that home run, huh? We're going to take it back to the studios, and we'll be back here. Don't go away. Game number 2 coming up not too far from now. We're back right after this.
Because more than just my armpits stink. Can I use it with my bra rubs under my... Oh, yeah. And what about down there? My... Totally. 4 out of 5 gynecologists would recommend it. So I tried it, and now I get 72 hours of freshness.
Looking for the ultimate place to host your party? It's time to roll into the Super Bowl on Highway 71 in Atlantic, the place to celebrate birthdays, family nights, or even date nights. Glow Bowling lights up your Friday and Saturday nights. We've got bumpers and ramps for the kiddos, and plenty of lanes for the grown-ups' bragging rights. Whether you're here to compete or just kick back and relax, the Super Bowl is where memories are made. Call Dan at 243-4656 to book your party today. The Super Bowl in Atlantic. Let the good times roll.
Gas prices got you down? Need a ride to work or the grocery store? There's public transportation for everyone in Southwest Iowa. SWITA offers taxi service in Atlantic, Glenwood, Harlan, Missouri Valley, Red Oak, and Shenandoah. $2.50 each way or $2 for seniors 60 years and older. Just call 1-800-842-8065 or visit swita.com to schedule your ride.
Heart would race just taking my son to practice. It didn't feel right. So I got checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
KS 95.7. The complete Trojan coverage is KS 95.7. Coverage, KS 95.7.
And welcome back to Harlan. Tom Robinson, Roger Warren with you as we get set for a game number 2 here at H-Jack Field. The Atlantic Trojans winning game number 1 by the score of 12-0 in 4 innings. A perfect game by Zoe Kirchhoff. As we take a look at the lineups here for this second game here this evening, Harlan pretty much the same. They're going with a flex player here in game number 2. They're going to lead off with Avery Mance, the shortstop, and she'll play center field. Aubrey Wagner will bat second and play left, much as the first game, and Taylor Hazy batting third, and she'll be at third base. Batting cleanup, Camry Goshorn, the designated hitter for Harlan. Susie Kinkel bats fifth, and she'll catch. Carly Goshorn bats sixth, playing first base, and Aubrey Arkfield will be at second, as in game number 1, bats seventh. Caitlin Spitz batting eighth in center field, and Lauren Spitz pitching for the Cyclones, batting in the ninth spot. Peyton McLaren will throw for the Trojans here in game number 2, as we're going to go ahead and get the Atlantic lineup written down as we speak here. It's clouding over. It looks like clouding over to the northwest here and Harlan community. Of course, we're looking at a possibility of some storms early on tomorrow morning. And let's take a look at Atlantic here. Their lineup in game number 2 for the Trojans. And see if we can get that pulled up here. They'll lead off with Lila Wiederstein. She had another good evening at the plate here in game number 1. And, of course, she'll be the catcher for the Trojans. So she'll lead it off, much like she did last game for Atlantic. And batting in the second spot for the Trojans, that's going to be Dylan Ball. And Dylan, the speedy right fielder, will be batting a second for Atlantic, and she'll play out in right field for the Trojans, and wears number 10 on her jersey as well. Batting in the third spot will be Zoe Kirchhoff. Kirchhoff had a home run. As I mentioned, pitched that perfect game. She went 4 innings. She faced total of 12 batters, struck out 6 of those 12 batters and did not allow a base runner. Just a great outing for Zoe Kirchhoff in that first game. Batting cleanup will be Claire Schroeder for the Trojans. Claire will play third base for Atlantic, just much as the first game. And not a lot of changes here for the Trojans, just mainly we're going to have a designated player, a DP. It's going to be Jillian Satoff. Schroeder playing at third base for Atlantic. Jillian Satoff will bat fifth, as Satoff had that home run in game number 1 as well. And she'll be the DP here in game number 2 for Adler Bruce, the left fielder. Batting sixth spot will be Peyton McLaren, the pitcher for Atlantic. McLaren with a win in the circle for the Trojans so far this season. She'll be pitching for Atlantic. Batting seventh will be McKenna Sontag. Sontag had a good first game with a number of base paths appearances for Sontag. And McKenna looks like she's playing first base in this second game.
I seen that out there. They were practicing that.
Interesting, yeah.
Trying some things.
Trying some different things. So Satoff will be the DP, and McKenna will play first base for Atlantic, and then batting in the 8th spot will be McKenna Schrader. Well, what a first game she had, Roger Ward.
Yeah.
And McKenna will play. McKenna Schrader she's going to be out in center field like she did in game number 1. Batting ninth, looks like it's going to be a new player here in the lineup. It's going to be Madison McLaren. So Madison will get to play. She's an 8th grader, and she'll play and hit that number 9 spot. Good for Madison. She'll play second base. So yes, Coach Hinsman is moving some things around here in game number 2. We'll be back with the start of this one right after these at 95.7 FM and our live video stream, WesternIowaToday.com TV and YouTube, powered by Nishnanet.
When it's time to think about trailers, think Olson's Outdoor Power. With over 100 trailers in stock at 2 locations, we've got the inventory to get you the right trailer. Olson's Outdoor Power is your one-stop service and equipment shop for all things outdoor. We sell the best power sports products in the business, from Polaris, Can-Am, Sea-Doo, and Ski-Doo, trailers to tackle any job from H&H, Triton, and Wilson, and we continue to lead the way in lawn and garden equipment with great products from Exmark, Dixie Chopper, Husqvarna, Cub Cadet, Steel, and Echo. Add factory-trained technicians in 2 locations, and it's easy to see why Olson's Outdoor Power is the leader in all things outdoor. Olson's Outdoor Power, your one-stop service and equipment shop with locations in Atlantic and Carroll.
First Windy Bank is the longest standing locally owned bank in Atlantic, and as such, we take pride in how we serve our community. For generations, we have been involved with our customers and their families by getting involved in community events and by supporting technology and teaching financial literacy in our schools. You'll also see our support of athletics on the scoreboards at home events. It's this involvement that allows us to know our customers and their families for generations. First Windy Bank, the only bank you'll ever need. Member FDIC.
Have you ever heard the saying, people spend their life building wealth and neglecting their health, only to wish they could trade their wealth for better health at the end? This is Dr. Fritz Beyer, and it has now been over 30 years since my first chiropractic adjustment. I still get asked, do you get adjusted? Absolutely. I try to get adjusted at least once a month. I'm 47 now and still try to stay as active as ever. While I do get a few more aches and pains than when I was younger, it feels great to be able to step on the mat and help kids learning to wrestle. Chiropractic has helped me feel young enough to do it. If staying active is part of your future plans, call 254-BODY to get your body back to the basics.
At 2nd Street Auto, it's our mission to get you back on the road fast. And it all starts with free local towing. Once you're back at the shop, we talk you through your car repair with a free and fair estimate. We do everything in-house so you know who's working on your car. Our Hercules tires come with free road hazard repair, free rotation for the life of the tires, and a free alignment check. And nobody can beat our transmission rebuild and repair experts. Brakes, tune-ups, oil changes, preventative maintenance, and service work make 2nd Street your first stop.
Is starting lineups here. We didn't have those in game 1, so let's take a look here Troy Nicholas, the home plate umpire, and Casey Conover on the base paths. They do a tremendous job. For Atlantic, leading off will be Lila Wiederstein, the catcher. Batting second, Dylan Ball, the right fielder. Batting third, Zoe Kirchhoff, the shortstop for Atlantic. Batting cleanup will be Claire Schroeder, the third base person for the Trojans. Batting fifth, Jillian Satoff. She'll be the designated hitter, the DP. And batting sixth will be the pitcher, Peyton McLaren. Batting seventh, McKenna Sontag. She's playing first base. And batting eighth will be McKenna Schrader for the Trojans. She'll play center field. Madison McLaren batting ninth, and she'll play second base. So a little bit of a flip-flop for Atlantic here in game number 2 as they scored 12 runs on 8 hits and left only 1 runner in 4 innings and 4 home runs in game number 2. Zoe Kirchhoff had a home run in that game 1. Lila Wiederstein a home run. Jillian Satoff had a dinger. Also, Peyton McLaren had a home run.
Hang on.
And a couple of doubles, and this wind just keeps on whipping here. And hoping it was going to die down, but probably not late enough in the evening for that to happen, Roger Warren. My goodness. So the Trojans in their white jerseys, black numbers, the Atlantic across the front, black pants, and Harlan Community in their red jerseys. And white numbers and black trousers, much like Atlantic's black pants as well. Avery Mance will lead off and play shortstop, but batting second, Aubrey Wagner, left fielder. Batting third, Taylor Hazy, she'll be at third base. Batting fourth, Cameron Goshorn, the DP. Batting fifth, Susie Kenkel, the catcher. Batting sixth, Carly Goshorn at first. Aubrey Arkfeld will bat seventh to play second base. Caitlin Schmitz in center bats eighth, and Lauren Schmitz, the pitcher, will bat in the ninth spot for the Cyclones. And the wind is picking up here for game number 2. Head coach for the Cyclones, Brett Cron, assisted by Nolan Hazy and Brian James. Head coach for Atlantic, Terry Hinsman. And his assistants are Derek Handel and Molly O'Hara. We're back right after these at 95.7 FM.
Business is your business, but there are times when you need someone to come alongside.
Cass Health in Atlantic, Iowa is a nationally recognized hospital, and we are proud of the awards and all of our recent accomplishments. But do you know what drives us to be the very best? You. We're passionate about helping our patients heal and feel their very best at any age and any stage of life. Cass Health, neighbors caring for neighbors.
Your business, or you just want to make something your own. You'll have everyone saying, "Where'd you get that?" Don't forget, Outfitters will also add your group store online to make ordering a breeze. Get personalized at Outfitters Plus Outlet Store in Atlantic. Stop by today.
Looking for the ultimate place to host your party? It's time to roll into the Super Bowl on Highway 71 in Atlantic, the place to celebrate birthdays, family nights, or even date nights. Glow Bowling lights up your Friday and Saturday nights. We've got bumpers and ramps for the kiddos, and plenty of lanes for the grown-ups' bragging rights. Whether you're here to compete or just kick back and relax, the Super Bowl is where memories are made. Call Dan at 243-4656 to book your party today. The Super Bowl in Atlantic. Let the good times roll.
As busy as we all seem to be, no one has time for a breakdown. So here's the key. Pay attention to the early signs of transmission issues. If you notice problems, call 2nd Street Auto. Ignoring these symptoms can only lead to very costly repairs. Check engine light on, knocking, late to shift, stall, or slip. Save yourself the headache and money and get into 2nd Street Auto today. If you run into problems and can't get on the road, 2nd Street Auto is not going to let you down. If you're in the KSOM KS95 listing area, your tow is free. 2nd Street Auto in Atlanta, getting you back on the road and keeping you there.
Let's play 2, Roger Warren, and we're going to have...
And here we go.
Game number 2 coming up here in Atlantic. And the Cyclones, Trojan won the first game 12-0 in 4 innings. Lauren Smits In the circle for Harlan Community, Atlantic will lead off with Lionel Wiederstein. She'll be the catcher. Dylan Ball, right fielder, bats second, and Zoe Kirchhoff batting third and playing shortstop. And we're looking off to the northwest. Pretty good little cloud bank there, but it looked on your trusty radar. Looks like it might
go north of us.
North of us here for the time being, and might see something early tomorrow morning come through the area. Certainly some much-needed rainfall. Just we want to keep that.
Yeah, let's keep the water flowing.
Yes, keep the severe.
I can't say we've had too much for quite a few years.
Oh, boy. Lauren Spitz in the circle for Harlan Community. Catchers Susie Kinkel, Carly Gosh shown at first, Aubrey Arkfeld at second, Avery Manns at short. Taylor Hazy at third, Aubrey Wagner out in left field, Caitlin Smits in center, Ashley Tunender in right field for Harlan Community, getting a start here in game number 2. Kinkel throws down, and Wiederstein will get set to step in for Atlantic to lead off the second game here. The Trojans 5-1 on the season. Harlan now 1-4 as Wiederstein will stand in. Atlantic won 5 in a row now after their loss to Missouri Valley last Wednesday. They've won 5 straight as they come into game number 2 here against the Harlan Community Cyclones. So Wiederstein will bat, and we're waiting for Lauren Smits. Now we get set. Wiederstein at the plate for the Trojans. Top of the first inning here in game number 2.
Here we go.
And the pitch by Smits coming in. Swing and a miss, and the count is 0-1 to Lila Wiederstein to lead off the frame.
She was anxious on that one.
Yeah, well, and here's the thing. Those home runs could be
I know. Sometimes they're detrimental.
A little evil there because they're going to be swinging. Here's the pitch by Smits. That's a changeup for a strike.
She should have been swinging.
Nice pitch by Lauren Smits. The count 0-2 to Lila Wiederstein. Dylan Ball, then Zoe Kirchhoff for Atlantic here at the top of the first inning, game number 2. Wiederstein, a right-handed batter against Smits, a right-handed thrower. And the pitch on the way, swung on and ripped down the left side, extra bases.
That's extra bases.
Wiederstein with speed will race to third. Nope, she's going to go. Here's the throw. She slides it easily, and a triple for Lila Wiederstein. And I think she hit that base pretty hard.
Well, I'll tell you what, she didn't even stop. She just kept coming.
I don't think Hinsman, she ran a red light or not there, Roger Ward.
Well, I think that's what he's telling her. There was a red light there.
There might have been a red light, but I think she had that Ferrari going a little too fast to put a brake on that.
The left fielder threw it to the shortstop, and that's what helped.
Wiederstein at third with a leadoff triple. Here's the pitch. High bouncer right back to Smits. Fires the first for 1. Throw to home. Wiederstein scores. Atlantic up 1-0. So Ball will drive home Wiederstein. Atlantic up 1-0 just like that. Was that fun to watch Wiederstein run those bases?
Oh, boy. I was watching. I was going, I think she's going to go.
So a ground ball RBI for Dylan Ball, and Zoe Kirchhoff at the plate. She had a home run in game 1. She hit .706 coming in. Looks at a strike on the outside edge. Atlantic up 1-0 and 1 run on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 out here in the top of the first inning. Kirchhoff, a right-handed batter. Smits, the righty, brings the pitch. Swung on, tapped towards third. In the hole, knocked down by Manns. Base hit for Kirchhoff.
That's a base hit.
Atlantic with 2 hits here in the top of the first inning.
That was right in the gap, and the shortstop did a good job of not letting it go to the outfield.
For Kirchhoff, she had that home run. She went 1 for 3. She ground out, then had the solo shot and popped up to short. And she's now 2 for 4 in the ball game. Here's the pitch on the way to Claire Schroeder. She tips it foul right side. 1 on and 1 out for Atlantic. Top of the first inning, 1 in. 1-0 Schroeder. And then Jillian Satoff, the DP, on deck for Atlantic. Top of number 1. Trojans looked impressive offensively. They scored 13 runs against Denison last Saturday in the second game. Really got things going. Pass ball. And Kirchhoff will go to second base easily. They won 13-3 in game 2 as that offense came around. And we saw that offense here in game 1 against Harlan Community. I don't think I've seen that many home runs in a game. 1-1 pitch, change up inside, 2 balls and a strike. Atlantic up 1-0. Wiederstein triples, scores, and a ground ball by Dylan Ball. Doubles, she tripled, yeah.
Yep.
It was Kirchhoff that we had to decide.
Yeah, that's right.
That pitch hit up the middle, a shot. Kirchhoff to third. Base hit for Schroeder. Now she'll go to second base. It dribbles out into the green. Runners at second and third for Knight. That was a shot.
That's a base hit.
Up the middle, a base hit for Schroeder. 2 on and 1 out, top of the first inning. Boy, Atlantic is attacking the ball. Jill Satoff, the DP, will step in. Oh, wait a minute.
14. McLaren.
Yeah, this is McLaren at the plate. Here's the pitch on the way, outside for a ball. Well, yeah, I had to check the order here. 2 on and 1 out. And the pitch on the way, swung on, popped up. There's Mance, the shortstop, squeezes the ball. There's 2 down on a pop-up by McLaren. Two on and 2 down.
Who's number 14?
Well, that was McLaren, or Jillian Satoff.
Yeah, Jillian.
Okay, good. Well,
yeah, now we got McLaren.
Okay, here we go. We had it right. Okay. Satoff with the pop-up. She had a home run in game 1. So Peyton McLaren at the plates. Jillian pops up to shortstop with 2 down. Peyton McLaren at the batter. 2 on and 2 down and 1 in. Atlantic up 1-0. Schmitz brings the pitch, swung on and tapped to third, scooped up, and the throw right on the money by Hazy over to Goshorn. Atlantic up 1-0 on the Seed Pro scoreboard.
When it's time to think about trailers, think Olson's Outdoor Power. With over 100 trailers in stock at 2 locations, we've got the inventory to get you the right trailer at the right price.
Stein delivers more new genetics faster. Our focus on delivering higher yielding genetics faster than the competition is why we have released more new Enlist E3 lines in the past 5 years than any other seed company. For elite genetics paired with simple, flexible, and effective weed control, plant Stein Enlist E3 soybeans. Stein has yield. 45 years of yield. Learn more at steinseed.com.
Get ready for a fresh start at Greg Young Atlantic. Our Greg Young Fresh Start program helps you hit the road with confidence, overcome credit challenges with personalized financing, and a wide selection of great vehicles. Visit us today to find your brand new Chevy, GMC, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, or Ram, or check out our huge pre-owned selection at GregYoungAtlantic.com and GregYoungCDJRAtlantic.com. And to apply. Don't miss out on this incredible offer. Here at Greg Young, we go the extra mile for you.
A few more aches and pains than when I was younger. It feels great to be able to step on the mat and help kids learning to wrestle. Chiropractic has helped me feel young enough to do it. If staying active is part of your future plans, call 254-BODY to get your body back to the basics.
Welcome back to bottom half of the first. Avery Mance leads off for Harlan. A little blooper going out into left, but it's caught by Kirchhoff. Jogging out into the green to makes the grab.
Nice catch. Looked like it was a little deeper than that, but she made a great play on it.
Aubrey Wagner will step in. The first pitch hit by Mance. Atlantic up 1-0 here in the bottom half of the first inning. The Cyclones side of the first. Atlantic won game 1, 12-0. Home runs on 11 hits, 4 home runs in that game. Fastball to strike by McLaren. 0-1 the count to Wagner, the left fielder. Taylor Hazy on deck. Kirchhoff pitched a perfect game. In game number 1, she faced 12 batters. Atlantic won 12-0 in 4 innings. Did not allow a base runner, had 6 strikeouts, swing and a miss, strike 2. What a game she pitched, Kirchhoff. She moved the ball around. The changeup was working. Peyton McLaren looks like she's off and grooving here as well. 0-2 the count, nobody on, 1 out for Harlan. Here's the pitch coming in the dirt. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Wagner with Taylor Hazy on deck. Did not catch the baseball. I know we've got the double hitter there.
Oh, I did over there. I can see it from here. Right now it's in the top half of the 6th, and it's 7-11. Harlan.
Harlan up 11-7. Strikeout for McLaren on Wagner. First strikeout for McLaren here, and 2 deep in the lineup for Harlan. Taylor Hazy will stand in, the third baseman for the Cyclones. Cameron Agashorn, the DP, is on deck. Right-handed hitters, Taylor Hazy, nobody on, 2 down for the Cyclones. Atlantic up 1-0. We're on the Cyclones side of the first inning. Here's the pitch on the way, inside and low. The count is 1-0. Trojans have a similar defense except for first and second. Madison McLaren, the 8th graders, playing second, and they move McKenna Sontag, the senior, to first base. 1-0 pitch outside, 2-0. Pete McLaren at the circle, then Zoe Kirchhoff plays shortstop, and they'll flip-flop. Kirchhoff will pitch, McLaren will play short. Shorter at third for Atlantic. Outfield will set up in a moment. 2-0 pitch, swung on, popped up, and that's going to be Lila Wiederstein's catch. The catcher.
she took a deep breath on that one.
Well, the wind started to sail on her.
Yes, it did.
And she made the grab, and 3 up and 3 down. And Cyclones 15 straight retired here for Harlan Community in this doubleheader. There are 4 innings, and now 3 up and 3 down. McLaren looks sharp early on. We're back for Atlantic to go to the top of the first inning.
Business is your business, but there are times when you need someone to come alongside.
At Oak Point Wealth Management, we're embracing new changes to better serve you. As an independent wealth manager, I'm excited to partner with LPL Financial, bringing you comprehensive tools and resources backed by personalized service and dynamic technology. My focus remains on helping you achieve your financial goals with integrity and care. Visit oakpointwealth.com or call me, Erin Friend, at 712-207-3521 to learn more.
Visit www.oakpointwealth.com, 712-207-3521 to learn more about how Oak Point Wealth Management can help you pursue your financial goals.
Atlantic Ag and Auto, your locally owned CarQuest Auto Parts store, is seeking help to fill a part-time or possibly full-time position. While experience in retail parts is preferred, it is not a deal breaker. The ideal candidate should have entry-level computer skills and be comfortable working with the public and having some fun while doing it. If you have excellent customer service skills, a valid driver's license, and a history of reliability, we would like to hear from you. Atlantic Ag and Auto is an equal opportunity employer located at 716 West 7th Street here in Atlantic.
For the Trojans, they scored 1 run on 3 hits. And the top of the first, a lead 1-0. Game number 2 here at Harlan. Lauren Spitz in the circle for the Cyclones. And the pitch coming in, rolls away for a ball. The count is 1-0 to Sontag, who was on base 2 over 3 at bats in game 1. Reached an air and drove in a run and had a single. Went to second on air and struck out her last time up. Again at the plate for the Trojans. One of 2 seniors on this squad. The count is 1-0. Here's the pitch. High for a ball. The count is 2-0 to Sontag.
I think there's only one senior.
That's just her.
I think it's just her.
Well, look up on the roster. I don't know why I thought there was. I think you're right. They had 8 of the 9 returning.
Yes.
Riley Wood, of course, the pitcher, gone to graduation. Strike called. Count 2-1. McKenna taken all the way. Schroeder on deck. I've got the roster. We can. Shouldn't argue with you, Roger, at all. I believe you.
Well, we discussed this last.
Pop up, and Kinkle, now the first base person, comes over to Carly Goshorn, makes the catch for Harlan Community. 1 down for Atlantic. And now Lauren Spitz has retired 3 straight Trojans. Claire Schroeder at the plate for the Atlantic here in the top of the second inning. 1-0 lead for Atlantic. Schroeder, right-handed batter. Step in, and Schroeder, she was on base all 3 times. She was 3 for 3 in game 1. Pops that one foul. She had 2 singles, a double, and 2 RBI in that first contest for Atlantic. Schroeder entered the game with 3 for 15, hitting 200. She's now 6 for 18 as she elevates her average big time. See if she can keep it going here. Here's the 0-1 pitch on the way. Schroeder right back where it came from. A sharp ground ball picked up by Schmitz. 2 up and 2 down for Atlantic as Schmitz over to Carly Goshorn for the out. Here comes Madison McLaren, the 8th grader, playing second base. Nobody on, 2 down for the Trojans. 1-0 Atlantic with a lead. We're in the top of the second. On deck, Lila Wiederstein. Lauren Spitz in the circle. Here's the pitch to Maddie McLaren, high and away. The count is 1-0. Trojans 1 run on 3 hits in that first inning. They had base hits, a triple by Wiederstein to lead things off. Kirchhoff with a single, an RBI. Schroeder a single. Pitch in the dirt for a ball. 2-0 the count to Maddie McLaren. Lila Wiederstein is on deck for Atlantic in the top of the second. Lauren Smith's the sign from Kinkle. She'll wing it in. Swing and a miss. At a low pitch, the count is 2-1.
Looked like a good pitch to drive, but didn't connect.
They play Maddie McLaren straight away in center field. Tunander in right, and Schmitz in center, and Wagner in left. That's a pitch outside. 3-1, a hitter's count for the eighth grader. Nobody on, 2 down as McLaren tries to keep Atlantic alive here in the top of the second inning. Lauren Schmitz looks into Kinkle. Here's a sign to pitch outside. And that's ball 4. So McLaren draws a walk for the Trojans. That brings up a dangerous hitter for Atlantic
definitely.
and Lila Wiederstein. And she'll step in. Wiederstein with 3 home runs this season, including 1 here in game 1. Maddie McLaren at first base. 2 down. Pitch high and away. Strike called. Outside edge, 0-1. 1 on, 2 down. Atlantic up 1-0 with the top of the second. Atlantic side.
Typically, she gets some wood on the bat or on the ball.
Led this game off with a triple. 0-1, high for ball 2. And Lauren Schmitz is not going to give her anything
I wouldn't either.
good at all. Maddie McLaren, the runner at first base. Dylan Ball on deck. Ball had an RBI ground ball in the first inning, scoring Wiederstein. 1-1 pitch on the way. Swung on and ripped down the third baseline foul. 1-2. Wiederstein took a wicked cut there.
She was just a little early on it.
Just needs to stroke the bat, and it'll go for her. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1 on and 2 down. Top of the second, 1-0 Atlantic. Lauren Spitz brings it. It hit her. Wiederstein, it hit her in the knee. I don't think she... So, evidently, you got to move away from it?
Well, by rule, yes. If you do.
Yeah, I think they're going to appeal here, or at least he's going to check. So I think you have to try to avoid it. That hit Wiederstein's right knee, which would be the leads with her left. I think they're going to, they got to send the runner back to first. So that's what Troy Nickloss was getting across. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Wiederstein. With a runner at first base, that's Maddie McLaren. Atlantic with a 1-0 lead. We're in the top of the second. Lauren Christensen looks over to Coach Cron in the dugout. A long look to get the sign. I think got to be careful against Lila Wiederstein. And the sign, here's the pitch coming in. Swung on, popped up. Center field, there is the catch made by Schmitz. Kaylin Schmitz and Harlan retires the Trojans here in the top of the second. Cyclones off to a much better start than the
first
game
2 innings,
number 1. You bet. We'll take a timeout. We're back right after these.
Place to host your party? It's time to roll into the Super Bowl on Highway 71 in Atlantic, the place to celebrate.
Hey there, this is Tanner from your Atlantic Hy-Vee, and I've got some exciting news to share. Thanks to your feedback, we're currently rated the friendliest Hy-Vee in the entire company. That's a huge honor. On behalf of the whole team, thank you to everyone who's taken time to share their thoughts. Did you know you can leave feedback too? Just check the link on the bottom of your Hy-Vee receipt or in your email after a purchase. Whether it's a compliment or constructive criticism, I love reading our surveys and making sure we're always improving. And as always, thank you for shopping your Atlantic Hy-Vee.
When you're on the go, it's all about convenience. Add fantastic food, beverages, plus BP superior fuels, and you have Olson's BP in Atlantic. From sunup to sundown, we're the keep-you-going store. From our loaded breakfast burritos and Bunker Dunker donuts to our delicious Champs chicken and pizza to go, we have the food you crave. Don't forget the cold beer in the beer cave. Stop in and fill her up. There's always something you need at Olson's BP, the keep-you-going store, 2nd and Locust in Atlantic.
Harlan, Peyton McLaren Retired the side in the first. Here's the pitch. Swung on, popped up center field. Schrader's got it all the way. Kennecorn makes the catch. One out for Harlan, bottom of the 2. Susie Kinkle will step in to catcher for Harlan.
I never did understand that thing. I've been saying that for years. Can of corn. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you catch?
Yeah. Just have that arm straight up in the air.
Yep.
Yeah. I learned that one from Tom McLaren back in the day. That was one of his favorite sayings, a can of corn. The pitch by McLaren to Kinkle low and in for a ball. Atlantic up 1-0. We're in the bottom half of the second inning here in game number 2. Atlantic wins game 1 12-0. A perfect game by Kirchhoff. Faced 12 batters and retired all of them. She struck out 6 of the 12, and there's a swing and a miss. The count is 1-1 to Susie Kinkle. Can of corn. Kinkle, a right-handed batter. On deck is Carly Goshorn is the sign. Here's the 1-1. Swung on, tap foul left side. Brett Cron, the head coach at third.
Fielded that one.
He fielded that one nicely.
Yep.
Peyton McLaren looks into the dugout. McLaren is sophomore for the Trojans. Trading spots with Kirchhoff here throughout the season. Shortstop and pitched. 1-2. Swing and a miss. McLaren with a strikeout, her second.
Took a little bit of air off of that one.
She did, and pulled the string. Carly Goshorn will step in for Harlan Community here in the bottom half of number 2. Atlantic up 1-0. 1 run on 3 hits. All coming in the first. Goshorn, the rod-headed hitter. So McLaren off to a good start, retiring the first 5 Harlan batters. Here's the pitch coming. Swing and a miss. Count is 0-1 to Goshorn. Aubrey Arkfeld on deck for Harlan. Should Carly get on base? Wind is still blowing, not maybe as brisk as it was. That one rolls in for a ball, 1-1. Boy, he was a gale at times in the first game.
Yeah, well.
Thought maybe all of our electronic equipment was going to blow away, like Annie M. 1-1 to count. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, 1-2. McLaren with a pair of strikeouts. Scattered one in the first and one in the second. Now ahead, 1-2 to Carly Goshorn, the first base person for Harlan here in the bottom half of number 2. Atlantic up 1-0. Here's the pitch on the way. Swing and a miss, and the third strikeout for McLaren. And she has retired the first of 6 batters. We're back right after these.
There's nothing better than the Rolling Hills Crops and Pasture here in Iowa. We here at Rolling Hills Bank and Trust are dedicated.
At Seed Pros, our mission is to be your business partner every day of every season.
Pioneer Hybrid International was founded in Iowa back in 1926 and is still American today. Not many other seed providers can make that claim.
We partner with you to continually push the limits by combining elite seed genetics, local infield knowledge, along with customer service second to none.
We are with you from the word go. Contact Mark Van Tiger, Gary Dinkla, Nick Knudsen, or John Becker to partner with a team that puts your business needs first.
At Rolling Hills Bank and Trust, we're not just a bank. We're your neighbors. We've been dedicated to our communities for over 35 years. From real estate and ag loans to personal and commercial banking, we offer a full range of financial services tailored to meet your needs. We believe in giving back and being involved in the communities we serve. Stop into one of our 12 convenient locations or visit us at rollinghillsbank.com.
Lineup, all the right fielder. Ground out her first time up. Will stand in. Zoe Kirchhoff, who singled, was left at third on deck. Lauren Spitz in the circle, off to a good start for Harlan. And the pitch on the way, just missed high. The count is 1-0. Took a lot off that one.
She did. It almost dropped in there.
A little floater. Comes in. We'll see what she brings back to ball here. 1-0 the count. Dylan Ball, a right-handed hitter against the right-hander. Lauren Smith, here's the pitch, high and away, 2-0. Smith with no strikeouts. She has 1 walk. Allowed 1 run on 3 hits so far in this game number 2. We're in the top of the third Atlantic side. Dylan Ball, the right fielder, just a freshman, will stand in. Here's the pitch coming. There's a tapper to short. Gets through for a base hit. Dylan Ball was scoot around first and put the brakes on. The ball quickly in the infield by the center fielder, Caitlin Schmitz. So Ball with a single, the fourth hit for Atlantic, and a leadoff hit for the Trojans. Here's Zoe Kirchhoff. Kirchhoff went 1 for 3 in the game one with a home run. She steps to the plate. Kirchhoff had a solo shot in that second inning. Pitch is away for a ball. Count is 1-0. See if she can get a hold of one here with a 1-0 lead at the top of the third.
Well, just like always, if you got a good stroke, it's going to go if it's going to go. You just got to put the bat on the ball. I mean, move people around the bases.
1-0 pitch is lined to short. Mance drops it, has the wherewithal to pick it back up and get the force at second.
And nothing Dillon could do. I mean, she was caught in no man's land because she was halfway down. The ball, if it got caught, then she's got to get back. Dropped. She still couldn't get there.
Well hit by Kirchhoff. She's at first in the fielder's choice. And to the plate is a third base person, Claire Schroeder, 1 on, 1 out. Atlantic up 1-0, top of the third. Here's the pitch of the butt. And it goes foul, and the count is 0-1 to Schroeder. Singled her first time up. On deck is Jill Satoff for Atlantic. Schroeder had
a good idea. Just put it down, and you might have caught him off guard and got both safe.
Schroeder went 3 appearances, 0 for 2. She walked and scored a run for Atlantic in that game one. Changeup is outside for a ball. 1-1 the count to Claire Schroeder. At first base is Zoe Kirchhoff. Satoff on deck for Atlantic. 1-0 Trojans, top of the third. 1 run and 4 hits. Here's the pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. Count is 1-2 to Zoe Kirchhoff.
Nope. Zoe's on first.
Or excuse me, to Claire Schroeder. Yeah. Right-handed hitter, 1-2. Thanks for the correction.
No problem.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, and Schmitz gets her first strikeout of the ball game. And there's 2 down for Atlantic at the top of the third inning. Here comes Jillian Satoff, who had that loud home run in the
rocket.
Yeah, rocket, a 2-run homer. We thought McLaren's got out quicker. Satoff's quicker.
Yep.
McLaren's maybe a little
farther.
further. And Satoff, the right-handed batter. Here's the pitch. The sophomore ripped to short. Scooped up by Mann. She's going to throw to first, and it is in time by a half a step. They couldn't get to second because Mance bobbled it. And Kirchhoff was going to be safe, so she rocked to first base and gets the out on a 6-3. And Atlantic is retired. No runs and 1 hit. No errors, and they left 1. We're through 2.5. Atlantic with a 1-0 lead.
Point Wealth Management.
Olson's Outdoor Power is your one-stop service and equipment shop for all things outdoor. We sell the best power sports products in the business from Polaris, Can-Am, Sea-Doo, and Ski-Doo, trailers to tackle any job from H&H, Triton, and Wilson, and we continue to lead the way in lawn and garden equipment with great products from Exmark, Dixie Chopper, Husqvarna, Cub Cadet, Steel, and Echo. Add factory-trained technicians in 2 locations, and it's easy to see why Olson's Outdoor Power is the leader in all things outdoor. Olson's Outdoor Power, your one-stop service and equipment shop with locations in Atlantic and Carroll.
First Windy Bank is the longest standing locally owned bank in Atlantic, and as such, we take pride in how we serve our community. For generations, we have been involved with our customers and their families by getting involved in community events and by supporting technology and teaching financial literacy in our schools. You'll also see our support of athletics on the scoreboards at home events. It's this involvement that allows us to know our customers and their families for generations. First Windy Bank, the only bank you'll ever need. Member FDIC.
Harlan, as the Cyclones come to bat in the bottom half of the third, down 1-0, yet to get a hit in this doubleheader. Aubrey Arkfeld, Kaylin Schmitz, and then Lauren Smith will bat for Harlan. There's a strike called. Peyton McLaren in the circle for Atlantic, and she has 3 strikeouts so far in the game. 1 in the first and 2 in the second. Back-to-back Ks in the bottom of the second inning. Retired the Cyclones. Here's the pitch on the way. Rolls in for a ball. The count is even at 1-1. Arkfeld, Schmitz, and then back the top of the order. Harlan needs to get a hit here and get some base runners. Down 1-0. Bottom half of the third. Atlantic 5-1 on the season. They've won 5 straight. Harlan 1-4 on the year. Their win against Denison. Here's the pitch. A rip right back to McLaren. The pitcher lobs to first for the out. McLaren now has retired 7 straight. And a 1-3 there, and that brings up Caitlin Schmitz, the center fielder for Harlan Community. A player straight away, Schmitz, and then Lauren Schmitz. Peyton McLaren, the sophomore, looks in. Here's the pitch coming outside for a ball. Count is 1-0. Schmitz, the center fielder, has had some business out there here.
Yeah.
Ball game. Here's the 1-0 pitch on the way, and it is outside, ball 2. 2-0 the count as Peyton falls behind. She's retired the first 3 and a pop-up, a strikeout, and a pop-up. Goshern flew out to center of the second and then back-to-back Ks. And then Arkfield grinds out. There's a pitch swung on and missed.
Coming back.
Yep, coming back 2-1. Nice pitch. Right there, that outside edge. A little bit of a riser for Peyton McLaren. End of the season last year, under 2 for ERA.
No, she
had a good year. Nice compliment to Riley Wood. That pitch is low and away. Now it's a hitter's count for Caitlin Schmitz. 3 balls and a strike. Lauren Schmitz on deck. Nobody on, 1 out for Harlan. Bottom half of the third inning. Atlantic with a 1-0 lead here in game 2. Here's a 3-1 pitch. It's on the way. Strike is called. Now full at 3-2. Right in the corner. Full count here for Caitlin Schmitz. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Put it in the same spot.
McLaren eyes the mitt of Lila Wiederstein. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. And strikeout number 4 for Peyton McLaren. And now she's retired 8 straight Cyclone batters. Here comes Lauren Schmitz, the pitcher, to step in for the Cyclones here in the bottom of the third inning, down 1-0. Harlan yet to get a hit here in this doubleheader. There's a perfect game by Kirchhoff in a game 1. And so if McLaren's do the same thing in a game 2.
Well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
She's got a good start on it.
He does, and she's got 4 strikeouts. That one low for a ball, 1-0 the count. Bottom half of the third, Atlantic up 1-0 on the Seed Pros scoreboard, 1 runner and 4 hits. Here's the pitch, swung on, and a line drive. The shortstop, Kirchhoff, she'll snag it for the out. And that'll be it. Harlan down 1-2-3. Atlantic 1, Harlan 0. We go to the top of the 4th. You're listening to High School Softball on 95.7 FM. Live video stream on WesternIowaToday.com TV and YouTube. And it's powered by NishnaNet.
Southwest Iowa Transit Agency.
Have you ever heard the saying, people spend their life building wealth and neglecting their health, only to wish they could trade their wealth for better health at the end? This is Dr. Fritz Beyer, and it has now been over 30 years since my first chiropractic adjustment. I still get asked, do you get adjusted? Absolutely. I try to get adjusted at least once a month. I'm 47 now and still try to stay as active as ever. While I do get a few more aches and pains than when I was younger, it feels great to be able to step on the mat and help kids learning to wrestle. Chiropractic has helped me feel young enough to do it. If staying active is part of your future plans, call 254-BODY to get your body back to the basics.
At 2nd Street Auto, it's our mission to get you back on the road fast. And it all starts with free local towing. Once you're back at the shop, we talk you through your car repair with a free and fair estimate. We do everything in-house so you know who's working on your car. Our Hercules tires come with free road hazard repair, free rotation for the life of the tires, and a free alignment check. And nobody can beat our transmission rebuild and repair experts. Brakes, tune-ups, oil changes, preventative maintenance, and service work make 2nd Street your first stop.
For the Trojans, it's going to be Peyton McLaren, McKenna Sontag, and McKenna Schrader to bat for Atlantic. Trojans 1 run on 4 hits. And McLaren at the plate has pitched a perfect outing, 12 straight outs for McLaren so far. Here's the pitch by Schmitz. That's a strike on the outside edge. A beauty there. And their count is 0-1 to Peyton McLaren, getting her second look, I should say, at Schmitz. She ground out her first time up, right back at her. 0-1 the count. Here's the pitch coming. Swung on, popped up. Shallow right. Back goes second base person to make the catch. Arby Ockfeld. There's a 1 down. So Lauren Schmitz is impressive for Harlan as well.
Oh, yeah. They're in a battle.
McKenna Sontag will stand in. 1 ball and no strikes.
The only advantage right now Atlantic's got is the fact that this is their second time through.
Yes, Sontag with the look outside. Want to know the count. Schrader on deck for the Trojans. Atlantic's run came in the first inning. Lila Wiederstein led off the game with a triple. Scored on Dylan Ball's ground ball. Here's the 1-0. There's a line drive to center field. That's going to drop in for extra bases. McKenna Sontag will cruise into second base, standing up with a double.
I love my granddaughter, but she's not as fast as Lila.
But she's on second base with a stand-up double, and that's her second two-bagger of the season. And the Trojans have a runner 120 feet away here at the top of the fourth inning, up 1-0. Sontag with the double. Here comes McKenna Schrader. Ground out her first time up. Back in game number 1, Schrader had a big game. She went 3 for 3. 2 singles, a double, and 2 RBI. She stands in. Here's the pitch coming. Bunt. Right back where it came from. Schmitz fields it. Fires the first. Not going to get her. Sontag doesn't even stop at third. Has the green light. Scores for Atlantic 2-0. And Kirchhoff goes to second base.
I'll tell you what. When you put the ball in play like that, you got to make them make the plays. They just about had it, but those errors will kill them.
An error on the Cyclones. And again, Coach Hensman, small ball, and he generates a run there. Atlantic had a 5-run second and a 7-run third to win 12-0 in game 1. And Lauren Spitz has done a good job of holding Atlantic at bay here in game 2, but Atlantic able to manufacture that run. Ball gets away onto third base goes Schrader.
She wants that one back.
Yeah.
that was more golfing.
0-1 the count to Maddie McLaren, the 9th hitter in the lineup. Trojans have a runner at third, 1 and 2-0. The pitch and the bunt down the third base line. Fielded by Hazy, and she has to hold the ball. Maddie McLaren will go to second. Nobody there. And the Trojans have runners at second and third. We got to give Maddie a bunt single there, Roger Warren.
That is a single because they did not make a play on it.
So now we've got Schrader at third. And Maddie McLaren is second base with a bunt single, and she went to second on the no throw. And the top of the order, Lila Wiederstein will stand in as Atlantic looks to maybe generate a big inning here.
I know it sounds crazy, but with her speed, another bunt puts another run in.
Well, yeah.
But you've also got that long ball.
She has 3 home runs. She bunts it right back up the middle. Lauren Spitz fields just fires a first out in time. A run scores.
Well, I got that one right, didn't I?
You called that, Roger Warren. A bunt single for Wiederstein and an RBI. Scores Schrader from third. And now Atlantic up 3-0 on 5 hits. And they've done it with the bunt.
No, Lila wants to run.
And with Wiederstein, that's the thing. You brought up a great point. Here's a hitter that hits 4 home runs this year.
Yeah.
And you turn and butter to generate another run.
Well, with the speed she's got, I don't care if she's the only one out there. It's going to be tough. I mean, usually left side of the bag is, left side of the plate is the good place for those bunt hitters to get there. But nope, that was right on the money.
Atlantic up 3-0. They've scored 2 runs here in the frame on 3 hits. They'll run the first. Runners to the corners. Here's the pitch strike. Here goes on down to second base is the runner for Wiederstein. I think that's Reese Ball. So now Atlantic has runners at second and third. 1 out here in the top of the fourth inning, 2 in. Dylan Ball, the batter. The runner at third base is Madison McLaren. Maddie McLaren, the 8th grader, at third.
I know what he emphasized here. Just put the bat on the ball.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. Count is 0-2. Good pitch by Lauren Schmitz. First base open. No force at all. Atlantic a run of the first, 2 on this frame. Top of the fourth, a 3-0 lead. Runners at second and third with 1 out. Here's the 0-2 pitch by Schmitz coming in. Swung off the handle, fouled straight back.
She fought that one off.
Stayed alive.
She started a little early on that swing.
Yeah, I think Schmitz might have taken a little off that as well.
Yep, she did.
0-2 the count to Dylan Ball, the second hitter in the Trojan lineup. Lining up 3-0. They plated 2 here in this frame. They're still just 1 out with 2 on. Dylan Ball, then Zoe Kirchhoff on deck. Here's the pitch coming inside for a ball, now 1-2. So Schmidt's going inside on Dylan Ball. Bought off the first one. We'll see what she can do here. Ball steps out. Back in front of the batter's box, right side. Right against righty. 1-2 pitch. Half swing. Did she go?
She's out.
Yes, she did. Strike out for Christensen. Or for Schmitz, rather. And that is her second strikeout of the game. Zoe Kirchhoff at the plate. Runners at second and third. Reese Ball at second. Maddie McLaren at third. 2 down. Atlantic up 3-0 with the top of the fourth. Here's Kirchhoff. Here's the pitch on the way. Swung on, hit deep left field.
I don't think it's
That's
out.
going to drop in for extras. 2 runs come across. Kirchhoff will cruise into second with a stand-up double and a 2 RBI double for Kirchhoff.
Yeah, that one got to the fence in a hurry.
And Atlantic up 5-0. And the 8th hitter to appear will step in, and that is Claire Schroeder. Trojans 4 runs in the inning on 1, 2, 3, 4 hits. Here's the pitch by Lauren Schmitz, high for a ball. Kirchhoff having a big night at the plate for Atlantic. 1 for 3 in the first game with a solo home run. And now Kirchhoff is 2 for 3 in game number 2. 1-0 pitch coming in to Schroeder. Here it is, outside for a ball. Count is 2-0 to Schroeder. 1 on, 2 down, 4 in for Atlantic here in the top of the 4th inning. They lead 5-0. Lauren Schmitz in the circle for Harlan Community. Signed the pitch, low and in.
Nope.
3-0 the count.
Well,
you take all
when
the way
you get
here.
where you get,
Yeah.
I would say so under the circumstances, but you got your number 4 hitter. A lot of times it's green light.
We'll see. Pitch, strike call to the outside corner. Still hitters count now, 3-1. To Schroeder, Satoff on deck. Top of the 4th. Atlantic up 5-0. 5 runs on 7 hits. Kirchhoff at second base, stands tall. Here's the pitch coming in. Outside, ball 4. A walk given up. Now the 9th hitter to appear in the inning, and that's going to be Jillian Satoff. Right-handed batter. 2 on, 2 down, 4 in, 5-0 Atlantic, top of the 4th.
Tell you, as I'm watching, I'm got a sneaking suspicion that make him pitch a strike first.
And the pitch coming. Swung on and popped foul. And
That's a good ball to hit, though. Boy, was that a good ball to hit.
Almost hit the lights on top there.
Yep.
Satoff with its slicer foul. 0-1 the count to Jillian, sophomore. Kirchhoff at second base. And the pitch on the way to Jill Satoff. Changeup is swung on and missed.
Yeah. It's like, yes, no, yes.
Yeah.
It just didn't get a piece of it.
Satoff, the 9th hitter to appear here in the inning, going to the count. 2 on, 2 down, 4 in. Here's the pitch to Satoff. Swung on, a high fly ball.
Keep running.
Shallow left. Man's a shortstop, makes the catch. And that's it for the Trojans, but they had a big inning, Roger Warren.
Yes, they did. Plated 4 of them and got a good start on it.
Trojans up 5-0 through 3.5.
Well, that gives McLaren a little bit of breathing room to, she's got a great start at 3 innings and, perfect game for her, too, starting it. So
4 runs for Atlantic on 1, 2, 3, 4 hits. They did leave a pair there in the top of the 4th inning. We'll keep it right here as we'll recap. Atlantic took a 1-0 lead in the top of the 1st inning when Lila Wiederstein hit a triple, scored on Dylan Ball's ground ball out on a hit right back to pitcher. Then Lauren Smith retired Atlantic 4 batters in the second, took down the Trojans, 4 batters in the third, but the 4th inning good for the Trojans as things got started by McLaren with a pop-up, and then Sontag had that double. That got the offense rolling. Schroeder followed with an error, got on base, a single by Maddie McLaren, and Lila Wiederstein an RBI single, and a 2 RBI double by Zoe Kirchhoff, and the Trojans score 4 runs. And now it's a 5-0 game as the Cyclones come to bat here in the bottom half of the 4th inning. So again, Peyton McLaren, a perfect outing so far. She's retired the first 9 Cyclone batters, and Avery Mance will lead off the bottom half of the fourth, getting her second look at the Trojan sophomore. McLaren will go to work as Mance popped up to the shortstop Kirchhoff. Her last time up, pitches outside for a ball.
Just don't get behind too far.
1 ball and no strikes. Avery Mance. Bottom half of number 4. Atlantic up 5-0. Yeah, the pitch on the way. Low in the dirt. Count 2-0. McLaren has fallen behind just a couple of times. Just 4 strikeouts. 1 in the first, a pair in the second, and 1 in the third inning. Looks in the sign from Wiederstein. And the 2-0 pitch coming high and away, ball 3. 3-0 the count to the leadoff batter, Avery Mance, a shortstop, and then Aubrey Wagner and Taylor Hagsey for Harlan Community.
Got to fight all the way back here.
The pitch. That's a strike down Broadway, count 3-1. Now Avery Mance has a hitter's count here. Cyclones looking for their first hit of the evening. Here's a 3-1 pitch on the way. Swung on, missed, 3-2. And boy, Peyton McLaren, give her credit.
Yep.
Comes roaring back after falling behind 3-0.
Take a deep breath and fight back.
3-2 pitch forthcoming from the sophomore, and she'll wing it in. Here it is. Swung on and tipped foul. As Mance stays alive here in the bottom half of the fourth inning. Atlantic 5 runs on 7 hits. A run in the first and 4 in the top of this frame. McLaren a long look in to Molly O'Hara. Gets the sign. And the 3-2. Swung on and fouled straight back. Spins against the netting. Wiederstein flips off that helmet. Well, she's done that a few times, hasn't she, in her career? And she, just a junior. Got a tremendous arm. Be interesting to see where she goes. She certainly can play at the next level.
Yeah, definitely.
3 balls and 2 strikes. Avery Mance leading off for Harlan here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. McLaren from a 3-0 count comes back and picks up her 5th strikeout of the ball game, and she still has a perfect game going here.
Well, you mentioned Lila. She's not only got catching skills and a good arm, but she's got a bat and speed.
Yes,
and they can use that.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
there's a lot of places
she's not a real tall girl in stature.
Correct. I mean, some of those catchers I watch in the College World Series are pretty good sized ladies.
Switch coming in, and the thing is, she can play center field.
Yes.
Cover a lot of ground out there.
I think she'd be an excellent center fielder.
Yeah, in a college program. Get that ball from home, from center field to home in a hurry. Yeah, I've been just watching those. That softball World Series is just amazing.
Oh.
Ball fouled off.
It's fun to watch.
Yeah.
It's a quick game.
Pitchers are good.
Yeah.
1-1 the count. Lining up 5-0. We're on the Cyclone side of the fourth. Aubrey Wagner at the plate. Struck out her first time up. Count 1-1. Peyton McLaren back to work. Here's the pitch on the way, inside and low. 2-1 the count. Wagner right ahead to hit her back in with Taylor Hazy on deck for Harlan Community. Bottom half of the fourth inning. McLaren brings the pitch low for a ball, 3-1. Well, she fell behind 3-0 to Mance, able to fight back and get the strikeout. Behind here, 3-1. She'll look in. Here's the pitch coming in. Swung on, tapped to short. Kirchhoff gets by her. And the Cyclones get their first base runner of the ball game, first base runner of the night on the error.
That is their first base runner. I bet he hopped right up into.
Oh, it did. It was a hot shot to short. Taylor Hazy will stand in.
I think her pride was hurt more than anything.
Yeah. So here we go. Atlantic with McLaren in the circle, and she had a perfect going there. She had retired the first 10 batters, and then Wagner reaches on an error for Harlan. She's at first. Atlantic up 5-0. We're the bottom half of the fourth inning. Hazy will step in, popped up. Her first time up against McLaren, a rod-headed batter. And McLaren will go to work. Here's the sign from Wiederstein. 1 on, 1 out. Here's the pitch coming. Swung on and fouled straight back. 0-1 the count. Atlantic up 5-0. They played at 4 in the top of this inning. Hazy out of the batter's box. A rod-headed batter now gets the sign from Coach Cron at third. She'll stand. Anna McLaren goes to work. Wagner at first. Here's the pitch. Swung on, a golfed high. Could be a bloop single, but in comes Schrader, makes the catch. They're going to get the double. Not going to get the double play. The throw to first was wide. Wagner had to hustle back, but a nice play by McKenna. Schrader in center.
Nice catch.
Yeah.
Thought we were going to get the double off.
And then she winged it in to first base, just threw wide of McKenna Sontag. Wagner got back safely. 2 down for Harlan here in the bottom of the 4th inning. 1 on and 2 out. Atlantic up 5-0. Here's Cameron Goshorn, the DP, the left-handed batter. McLaren wings it in. Swing and a miss. Count is 0-1. Babe McLaren with a strikeout of the first, 2 in the second, and 1 in the third, 1 in this frame. 5 strikeouts, McLaren. Pitched a no-hitter thus far. Goshorn at the plate, 0-1 the count. 1 on and 2 down. Here's the pitch, swing and a miss. 0-2. Throw back down the line, and Wagner back in. If that would have been the other side of the bag, that might have been a play.
No, she'd have been out.
Yeah. But it went on the backside of the first base as Wiederstein gunned it down the line.
I suppose I'll defend McKenna. Not used to playing that. Got to get it down a little quicker, too.
0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss to strike out, and the Trojans get out of the inning. The Cyclones do get their first base runner. No runs on, no hits, 1 error, and they leave 1. Through 4, Atlantic 5, Harlan to nothing. We're back right after these at 95.7 FM.
No one has time for a breakdown, so here's the key. Pay attention to the early signs of transmission issues.
At Outfitters Plus in Atlantic, you'll find all the latest in custom apparel and headwear. Head to Outfitters and work with the design pros to make your customized tees, team apparel, and personalized swag for your business a reality. Whether it's fan apparel for your high school or youth sports teams, your business, or you just want to make something your own, you'll have everyone saying, "Where'd you get that?" Don't forget, Outfitters will also add your group store online to make ordering a breeze. Get personalized at Outfitters Plus Outlet Store in Atlantic. Stop by today.
Looking for the ultimate place to host your party? It's time to roll into the Super Bowl on Highway 71 in Atlantic, the place to celebrate birthdays, family nights, or even date nights. Glow Bowling lights up your Friday and Saturday nights. We've got bumpers and ramps for the kiddos, and plenty of lanes for the grown-ups' bragging rights. Whether you're here to compete or just kick back and relax, the Super Bowl is where memories are made. Call Dan at 243.
Atlantic up 5-0, 5 runs and 7 hits. And the Cyclones still looking for their first hit of the game. The score, though, did give Harlan a hit there on that ground ball to Kirchhoff, so might have to rethink that on my part here, Roger Warren.
Well, it was a good hard shot. Let's put it that.
Yeah, so we'll switch it. We'll make it a hit. Here's the pitch coming outside for a ball. Trojans up 5-0. They bat the top of the 5th inning. And the 1-0 pitch coming in. Here it is. Inside for a ball to Peyton McLaren leading off the frame. 9 batters appeared in the 4th inning. Atlantic scored 4 runs on 4 hits. Zoe Kirchhoff had a double in the frame. Kenneth Sontag had a double. That slice foul right side, 2-1. Singles by Madison McLaren. Lila Wiederstein had a single. Schroeder walked and got on base for the Trojans. 5-0. 2-1 the count. Here's Peyton McLaren. Here's a pitch by Smith, high for a ball. Now 3-1 the count to McLaren.
Yeah, you got to remember that 3 of those were bunts in the last innings.
Yeah.
Got them down.
Yeah, that's fun to watch, Coach. And you mentioned Lila Wiederstein, and boy, you called her right, Coach. Coach, you've been in that seat many times.
Yep.
3-1 pitch, swung on a rip to right center field. That's going to roll to the fence. McLaren rounds first base, and she'll stride to second with a stand-up double for Peyton McLaren to lead off the top of the 5th inning. And McKenna Sontag at the plate, 1 for 2. She doubled her last time up and scored.
So they're going to get Courtesy runner.
Yeah, I believe we are, and it's
Bryn Lamp.
Bryn Lamp will run at second base for Madison, or for Peyton McLaren, and the batter now is McKenna Sontag. Lining up 5-0, one on and nobody down here at the top of the fifth inning. Trojans now 8 hits here in game number 2. They had 8 hits in game number 1, 12 runs on 8 hits in game 1. The pitch, bunt attempt goes away. There goes the runner, third base, to throw the tag, not in time.
And I agree
Close
with him.
play. Yeah, she got underneath. It was close.
I mean, you got to bring that tag down to those feet.
Yeah.
And not tag him up above.
So Bryn Lamp is on to third base, the pass ball. She's 60 feet away. Lining up 5-0, top of the fifth. Sontag will stand in. Lauren Schmitz will look in to Kenkel to get the sign, and she'll wing in the 1-0 pitch. That's low for a ball. Nice stop by Susie Kenkel. 2-0 the count to Sontag. On deck is Claire McKenna Schrader, and then Maddie McLaren bats in the 9th spot. Sontag in the 7th spot for Atlantic. Courtesy runner, Bryn Lamp at third. Here's the pitch. Swung on, a pop-up. Mance will make the catch, and they'll hold Bryn Lamp at third. So Sontag pops up to Mance at the shortstop, and now Schrader will step in. Round out to the pitcher in the second inning and reached an error in the fourth and scored one of the 4 runs for Atlantic. Lamp at third. Lauren Spitz in the circle, and she'll bring the pitch on the way, high and away for a ball. The count 1-0. Schrader 3 for 3 in game 1. She scored 2 runs, had 2 singles, a double, and 2 RBI for Atlantic. And the 1-0 pitch swung on, a pop-up shallow left. That's going to be caught by the center fielder. Nice running catch by Schmitz, but it'll score a run. Lamp will score to make it a 6-0 ball game.
Hey, she put the bat on the ball. That was a great catch because it looked like it was going to hit the gap, and she got over there really well.
Well, she did, and sacrifice fly for Schrader, and she drives in a run as McLaren with that double, and then run for by Bryn Lamp, who scores. And now Maddie McLaren will stand in, lining up 6-0. 6 runs on 8 hits, a sac fly by McKenna Schrader.
Help me out. If that's sac fly, that doesn't count as a at-bat, does it?
No, it will not.
Because you scored a run.
Exactly, and she was 3 for 3 in game 1. That's a pop-up, and it is just out of reach of Goshorn at first. She was 3 for 3 in the first game. And so game number 2, she ground out, reached an error. She's 3 for 5 for the night. Atlantic really has some solid hits here in the ballgame. 4 home runs in game 1. Here's the 0-2 pitch. High for a ball, 1-2 to McLaren. Then back the top of the order for Atlantic here in the top of the 5th. Trojans up 6-0. 1 run in the first, 4 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th. Right here in this frame. McLaren walked and singled. That pitch is high and away. Count is 2-2 to the 8th grader. Coach Hensman just kind of reloads the gun, doesn't he, with these young players and gets.
Hey, he's
them in
retired
the game.
now. He's got a lot of time to spend on softball.
Too much. Here's the 2-2, low and in. Now he's a great coach. Tell you what, won 27 wins a year ago. They've had a number of 30-win seasons.
Oh, yeah.
State tournament appearances back in 15. 2 state tournament appearances. 3-2 pitch, low and in, ball 4. And McLaren's on base for the 3rd straight time. Walked a pair and had a single. Now Lida Wiederstein will stand in. 1 on and 2 down for
I don't know
Atlantic.
about you, but I'd let her hit the ball because you come to this one, you got a problem.
He's going to let her hit. I think you called that right. Here it is. There goes McLaren back. Pitches low for a ball, 1-0. Yeah. Wiederstein with 3 home runs this season. 1 tonight. Hit one of the center field fence at 210 out in center. That pitch is strike. The count is 0-1. 1 on and 2 down for Atlantic. Top of the 5th, 6-0 Trojans. There's a rip high fly ball. That'll bring rain. And it goes out of play.
Let's hope not.
She chopped that one.
She
way
got
over
around
the lights and down the left field line and out of play.
She got a hold of that one.
Oh, boy. She must have really strong wrists.
Well, yeah, she can snap those babies around.
Man. 0-2 the count to Wiederstein. Lila sends that one to left field, base hit. That's going to be extras. Rounding third and going is McLaren.
No.
Wiederstein with a double and the throw in. Oh boy, Wiederstein with a triple and a single, now a double. And he'll send Matty McLaren all the way to third. Here comes Dylan Ball.
I know what I'd send her home. I would have sent her home. Just by where the ball was.
Yeah. So Wiederstein is going to be run for. And she'll go back and get her gear on. Here comes Dylan Ball at the plate for Atlantic. 6-0 Trojans. We're the top of the fifth. Game one started at 5 o'clock. It got done around 6 p.m. And Atlantic with the 12 runs and stopped the game early after 4. Here's the pitch, rolls inside for a ball, 1-0. Trojans have a lot of games this week. I'm looking at their schedule here for tomorrow. And
2-2. And
they go to Creston tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Then Thursday, Shenandoah, then the doubleheader on Friday. Pitches high and away for a ball.
I think Creston's just a single one.
Single game.
So Shenandoah.
South teams are just one. 2-0 the count to Dylan Ball here in the top of the fifth. Atlantic up 6-0.
8 games in 6 days.
Yeah, well, and then the tournament on Saturday.
And I'm counting 2 games for there.
Yeah.
They might play more than 2 on Saturday.
Pitch outside for Ball, 3-0 to Dylan Ball. Zoe Kirchhoff on deck for Atlantic. She's 2 for 3. Ball 1 for 3, single to back in the third.
Yeah, you're letting this one set on your shoulder.
Count 3-0 with 2 on, first base open. Here's the pitch. That's ball 4. So Ball draws a walk. Now the base is loaded for Zoe Kirchhoff. And boy, the table's set for a hitter that's batting .707 coming in. And coach is going to go out and talk. And I would too. Kirchhoff tonight in this game, she's 2 for 3. And game number 1, Kirchhoff was 1 for 3 with that home run, batting .707 coming in. She was 12 of 17 coming in the ball game tonight.
Yeah.
And 3A, that would be the 4th highest batting average. And now she's got the bases loaded with the 2 down here at the top of the 5th inning.
We had the same situation that Ballard and Lila comes up. And I just said, sometimes this is a good thing, sometimes it's not, because you get that, I can hit a home run.
Yeah.
And boy, that grand slam is just like gleaming in the eye. You just take what you get and don't throw a fit. How's that sound?
Yeah. 6-0 Atlantic. Now the bases jam with Kirchhoff at the plate. Atlantic scored a run in the first, 4 in the fourth, and 1 here. And runners all cover the bags. Matty McLaren at third base for the Trojans. Second base is a runner for Wiederstein and Dylan Ball at first. The pitch to Kirchhoff, swung on and hit high. Should be playable for the Cyclones. The right fielder coming in to make the play. It's Ashley Tunender. And they get Kirchhoff a swing of the first pitch. And a fly ball to right field, and Tunender makes the catch. And that's it for the Trojans. They scored 1 run in the frame on 2 hits, a couple of doubles, and a sac fly by Schrader. Drove home Peyton McLaren's a pinch runner. Atlantic with a 6-0 lead. Cyclones coming to the plate in the bottom of the 5th inning. We're back right after these.
Is a private, elegant retreat that offers aesthetic dermatology services and
gas prices got you down? Need a ride to work or the grocery store? There's public transportation for everyone in Southwest Iowa. SWITA offers taxi service in Atlantic, Glenwood, Harlan, Missouri Valley, Red Oak, and Shenandoah. $2.50 each way or $2 for seniors 60 years and older. Just call 1-800-842-8065 or visit SWITA.com to schedule your ride.
Stein delivers more new genetics faster. Our focus on delivering higher yielding genetics faster than the competition is why we have released more new Enlist E3 lines in the past 5 years than any other seed company. For elite genetics paired with simple, flexible, and effective weed control, plant Stein Enlist E3 soybeans. Stein has yield. 45 years of yield. Learn more at steinseed.com.
Trojans up 6-0, and McLaren throwing a one-hitter for Atlantic. Had a great outing for the Trojans. Pitched 4 complete, allowed no runs on 1 hit, and that was a hot shot to short. Otherwise, McLaren had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 strikeouts facing the Cyclones. Really had a good outing. Lamps pitches low for a ball. She retired the first 13 straight and retired 15 out of 18 batters there. What an outing for her. 1-0 pitch, swung on, hit to third, and knocked down, and Schroeder can't make the play. Kenkel arrives on the error. And there's 1 on and nobody out for Harlan here in the 5th. Bottom half of the 5th, and Carly Goshorn will stand in. Looking back, 3-6-9-10 as McLaren retired the first 10 batters. Wagner got a single, and then she retired Hazy and Goshorn. So what a job by McLaren. So Kenkel at first on the air. Carly Goshorn, the batter, maybe. We'll see here.
Number 13.
Yep, it's Goshorn. Atlantic up 6-0 with the bottom half of the 5th inning. Goshorn to the plate for Harlan. Kenkel, the runner at first base. Here's Lamps' pitch coming in. That's a ball out. That's a strike. Thank you. 0-1 the
Troy's
count.
a little slower on it.
He's got it.
Yep.
Yeah, he's got it. 0-1
well,
the
we got
count.
these headphones on, so we can't hear him say strike.
He's saying it, yeah. We just see the signal. These guys are veterans. They do a tremendous job. 0-1 pitch, swung on, and a little grounder to short. Fielded by Kirchhoff, throws the second for 1. They're not going to get the double to play, but nice play by Kirchhoff. That was a slow roller.
That was a slow roller, and that took some speed to get there.
Got over second. Second at base now was Peyton McLaren, so they force Kenkel out on a 6-4. And Goshorn's safe at first in the FC. Here's Aubrey Arkfeld, a ground out to the pitcher, her first time up. Lamp in the circle, the third Atlantic pitcher on the staff. 6-0 Trojans. Here's the pitch, low and away for a ball, count 1-0. 1 on, 1 out for Harlan, bottom half of the 5th. 6-0 Atlantic. They won the first one 12-0. 12 runs and 8 hits, 4 home runs in that first game. The pitch by Lamp, high for a ball. Lamp's got some zip on that one, right?
Yeah, she does. She's got a good whip right there at the bottom.
Yeah.
Those are long arms.
Yeah. 2-0 the count to Arkfeld with 1 on, 1 out. 2-0 pitch coming in, swung on and missed. There's a good pitch by Lamp. 2-1 the count. Trojans have some depth in the circle with Kirchhoff pitching game 1. McLaren started this one before complete. And now Lamp. Here's the 2-1 offering. Swung on, foul straight back. That'll leave the count at 2-2. Goshorn at first for Harlan Community. Still a breeze, but not the gale we had earlier. That might have helped Atlantic with some of those wins.
Absolutely.
Fastball low, count full 3-2 to Aubrey Arkfeld. Kevin Schmitz on deck for Harlan here in the other side of the 5th inning. Leading is Goshorn. Here's the pitch, swung on down the right side. That's a fair ball. That's extra bases. Rounding third, and Goshorn, she'll score. Here's the throw at the plate, not in time. Harlan on the board, throw to third, the tag, they got her. What a throw by Wiederstein, and they threw to short, and they got her going back. So Arkfeld with the RBI double, tried to stretch it into a triple, was thrown out at third base.
Well, she'd rounded it.
Yeah, but he scores Goshorn from first. And the Cyclones on the board 6-1. What a throw by Wiederstein.
Yeah, boy, that was a whip.
Yeah. Harlan on the board, but the RBI double by Aubrey Arkfeld scoring Carly Goshorn all the way from first. There's a ground ball to short. Scooped up by Kirchhoff. She'll rifle to first for the out.
I'll tell you what, that hit, that's one of those where it hits the chalk, and by golly, that's a fair ball.
That was no doubt about it.
Yep.
And 1 run for the Cyclones on 1 big hit. 1 error by Atlantic, and they leave 1. 6-1 Atlantic. We go to the top of the 6th inning. We're back right after these.
Get ready for a fresh start at Greg Young Atlantic. Our Greg Young Fresh Start program helps you hit the road with confidence, overcome credit challenges with personalized financing, and a wide selection of great vehicles. Visit us today to find your brand new Chevy, GMC, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, or Ram, or check out our huge pre-owned selection at GregYoungAtlantic.com and GregYoungCDJRAtlantic.com. And to apply. Don't miss out on this incredible offer. Here at Greg Young, we go the extra mile for you.
At Oak Point Wealth Management, we're embracing new changes to better serve you. As an independent wealth manager, I'm excited to partner with LPL Financial, bringing you comprehensive tools and resources backed by personalized service and dynamic technology. My focus remains on helping you achieve your financial goals with integrity and care. Visit oakpointwealth.com or call me, Erin Friend, at 712-207-3521 to learn more.
Welcome back to Harlan. We go to the top of the sixth. Atlantic up 6-1. Cyclones score a run in the bottom half of the sixth inning. And talking to Dave Wheatley next to me, he had a great comment for Atlantic. They don't think they do.
Yeah.
And that goes back to all those repetitions.
Oh, tons of repetitions.
And practice. And thought that was
situations,
a great comment.
Situations.
Yeah.
You're always thinking situations.
Yeah.
Every pitch is a different situation.
You start the sixth. The pitch is high and in. The batter for Atlantic is Schroeder. Cleanup hitter for the Trojans, and then Satoff and Peyton McLaren. Here's the pitch on the way. Swung on a foul ball left side, cleanly picked up by Coach Terry Hinsman. Atlantic scored a run in the first, a 4 in the fourth, 1 in the fifth. Cyclones answered with a run in the bottom half of the fifth inning to make it a 6-1 game. 1 run and 3 hits. Atlantic 6 runs and 9. And Schroeder back in for the Trojans. Here's the pitch. Change up inside. 2-1 the count to Schroeder. Singled in the first inning, struck out the third, and walked in the fourth. 2-1 ball game. Lawrence Smits in the circle. Brings the pitch high and away. 3-1 hitters count now for Schroeder near the top of number 6. Atlantic with a total of 17 hits so far in this doubleheader, with 8 in the first game and 9 here. The pitch swung on and missed to count 3-2. Smits took a little off that on outside edge. Schroeder will stand back in for Atlantic. Schroeder hit 200 coming in. She was 3 of 15. And the pitch swung on and fouled straight back. I mentioned in this game, Schroeder was 1 for 2 here. Game number 1, Schroeder had 3 appearances. She walked once, was 0 for 2. 3-2 pitch coming. That one rolls in for ball 4. Atlantic with a base runner to lead off.
That one she didn't have to think about.
No, not at all. Low and in and rolled in there, and now it's going to be Adler Bruce, I believe, to bat for Atlantic.
I'm trying to think of what Terry's going to do, but we're going to bunt her down to second base.
Yeah, Bruce at the plate. Here's the pitch. The junior snaps one foul. Count is 0-1 to Adler. Adler playing left field for the Trojans in game number 1. And batting, I believe, for Satoff here in this game number 2 here. 0-1 the count. Atlantic up 6-1. We're in the top of the 6th inning. 1 on and nobody down. Here's the pitch on the way from Smits to Bruce coming in. Swung on, popped up, a changeup, and there's going to be a double play. And that's it. Double play for Atlantic. Good job by the Cyclones. Aubrey Arkfield made the easy catch and then got Schroeder way off the bag for the double play, and the bases are empty.
I think that was hit and run, and
yeah,
not a pop out. That's where base running, you've got to pay attention. Coach can only yell at you so much.
6-1, 2 down for Atlantic, top of the 6th. Here's the pitch, high for a ball. Peyton McLaren, the batter for the Trojans, 1 for 3, ground out, popped up, and had a double and scored in the 5th. She got to second, then Curtis, the runner, finished it out for her. 1-0 pitch, McLaren inside for a ball, 2-0. Cyclones able to get a run across in the bottom half of the 5th inning to get on the board 6-1. Baden back in for the Trojans. Lauren Schmitz has gone the distance. There's a line drive, a right center field. McLaren rounds first base, and she will hustle into second, standing up with a double. Her second double here in the ball game. And the Trojans have a runner at second base with 2 down here in the top of the 6th inning. A 2-out double.
Let's go, one.
So here comes Sontag to the plate. Popped up, but doubled in a run in the 4th inning and popped up in the 5th. 1 on and 2 down for Atlantic. Trojans up 6-1 here in the top of the 6th inning. Here's the pitch by Schmitz outside for a ball. Lauren Schmitz, Susie Kinkle, the battery for Harlan. 1-0 the count to Sontag. Had the double and scored that 4th inning. Here's the 1-0 pitch, swung on, popped up, and that's going to be out of play. Count goes to 1-1 to the senior, McKenna Sontag, the lone senior on the team. Boy, Atlantic was young last year, picked up 27 wins. I believe 27-13. Lost in the regional semifinal to Clarinda. Quite a ball game down there. That one's popped foul. And that may be playable. Nope, not quite. Good attempt by Hazy, the third baseman, who couldn't quite get it in front of the third base dugout. Now 1-2 as Schmitz works ahead of McKenna Sontag with Schrader on deck for Atlantic. 1 on, 2 down, 6-1 Atlantic. We're the top of the 6th. Game number 2. Trojans won the first outing 12-0. 1-2 pitch. Swung on, popped up deep, right center. Over comes the center fielder, Kaylin Schmitz, to make the catch. And that'll be it for Atlantic here in the top of number 6. No runs on one hit. That was a double by McLaren. We're back with more right after these at 95.7 FM.
Here, and your Atlantic Hy-Vee Garden Center is officially open and ready to help you make the most of the season. We're fully stocked with hanging baskets.
When you're on the go, it's all about convenience. Add fantastic food, beverages, plus BP Superior Fuels, and you have Olson's BP in Atlantic. From sunup to sundown, we're the Keep You Going store. From our loaded breakfast burritos and Bunker Dunker donuts to our delicious Champs Chicken and Pizza to go, we have the food you crave. Don't forget the cold beer in the beer cave. Stop in and fill her up. There's always something you need at Olson's BP, the Keep You Going store, 2nd and Locust in Atlantic.
Atlantic Ag and Auto, your locally owned CarQuest Auto Parts store, is seeking help to fill a part-time or possibly full-time position. While experience in retail parts is preferred, it is not a deal breaker. The ideal candidate should have entry-level computer skills and be comfortable working with the public and having some fun while doing it. If you have excellent customer service skills, a valid driver's license, and a history of reliability, we would like to hear from you. Atlantic Ag and Auto is
a proud part of Meredith Communications, KS 95.7.
We go to the bottom half of the 6th, and Lauren Smith will lead off the 9th into the Harlan lineup. Trojans up 6-1, 6 runs on 10 hits. Harlan 1 run on 3 hits. Bottom of number 6, Smith's the run-headed hitter. Ren Lamb pitching for the Trojans. Here's the pitch coming in. Half swing, no. 2-0 the count. McLaren pitched the first 4 for the Trojans. Pitched a one-hitter. Had quite an outing for Atlantic, and then Lamb took over in the 5th inning, swing and a miss. 2-1 the count. The Cyclones scored 1 run on a double by Aubrey Arkfeld in that 5th inning. 3 hits for the Cyclones. Here's the 2-1 offering. That one swung on and missed. Count goes to 2-2. All right hitters of the Trojans pitching staff with Kirchhoff, who pitched a perfect game in the first one. 4 innings, 12 batters retired. 2-2 pitch outside, 3-2 the count. Had great control. McLaren also fantastic control. Did not walk a batter. And she struck out 5. Lamp 3-2. We can see if she can avoid a walk here. There's a ground ball short. Kirchhoff has trouble with it off the heel of her glove. And the Cyclones have a base runner. The second here in Atlantic here in game number 2. Took a wicked hop on Kirchhoff. 1 on and nobody down. Leadoff hitter aboard for the Cyclones. Avery Mance, the leadoff hitter, will step in. She's 0 for 2.
Sometimes when you set back on those and wait for them, they're the worst. just come running up and go get him.
Harlan, nobody out here. They got one on and nobody down, bottom of the 6th inning. Lamp brings the pitch. That's inside for a ball. 1-0 the count to Avery Mans, the leadoff hitter. Aubrey Wagner on deck. Wagner's 1 for 2. Outfeld with a double and Wagner with a single. They have 2 hits in the game. Here's the pitch on the way, outside for a ball. 2-0 the count. Schmitz reached an error at first base. 6-1 Atlantic with a lead. We're in the Cyclone side of the 6th inning. Here's the pitch coming. Swung on. A blooper out into center. Kirchhoff runs out to make the catch for short. Fires to first. Can't make the play there. And there's one down. Kirchhoff with a nice play drifting out into center field to make the catch for shortstop.
That had been a tough dig.
So Kirchhoff with the catch. Shallow center. Trying to get Schmitz at first base. He's able to get back. 1 on and 1 out for Harlan. 6-1 Atlantic. We're in the Cyclone side of the 6th. Lamp brings the pitch. Low for a ball. That gets away. And Schmitz will stay at first. And they know how good Wiederstein's arm is.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you're not going, you're not going.
Wiederstein. I'll tell you what. She could... Oh, there's a line drive up the middle. Lamp knocks it down. She's going to get the lead runner at second base for the force. Well, that was a liner right at Lamp, and she's able to snag it down.
Knocked it down, got it to second.
So a 1-6 there at second base for the Trojans.
It's a way to play your position.
Hazy.
Otherwise, that sucker goes to the center field.
Yeah, exactly. Taylor Hazy, the batter, 2 down. As Schmitz was forced out at second. And here's the pitch coming in. There's a drive to second base. Scooped up by McKenna Sontag as she makes a routine play. 4-3 for the out, and that's it for Harlan Community. No runs on no hits, 1 error, and they leave a runner. We're through 6. Atlantic up 6-1. We'll go the 7th. We're back right after these.
Another mouth-watering deal from Godfather's Pizza in Olson's BP in Atlantic.
At Seed Pros, our mission is to be your business partner every day of every season.
Pioneer Hybrid International was founded in Iowa back in 1926 and is still American today. Not many other seed providers can make that claim.
We partner with you to continually push the limits by combining elite seed genetics, local infield knowledge, along with customer service second to none.
We are with you from the word go. Contact Mark Van Tiger, Gary Dinkla, Nick Knutson, or John Becker to partner with a team that puts your business needs first.
At Rolling Hills Bank and Trust, we're not just a bank. We're your neighbors. We've been dedicated to our communities for over 35 years. From real estate and ag loans to personal and commercial banking, we offer a full range of financial services tailored to meet your needs. We believe in giving back and being involved in the communities we serve. Stop into one of our 12 convenient locations or visit us at rollinghillsbank.com.
And for the Trojans, it will be Schrader, Maddie McClare, then the top of the order for Atlantic. Trojans 6 runs on 10 hits in the game. 1 run and 2 hits for Harlan Community. Schrader ground out, reached an error, and had a sac fly for the Trojans in this game. She'll pop that one up, shallow right.
That's going to drop.
Toonender can't get there from right field. That's going to be a bloop single. So Schrader with a single. Thought that might be routine, and maybe Spitz might have been able to get to it. Toonender came in from right, and that dropped right between them.
That was
base hit.
That was second baseman's ball.
Or Arkfield could have got out there too.
Yeah.
1 on for the Trojans. Nobody down. Leadoff hitter aboard for Atlantic here in the top of the 7th inning. Trojans with a 6-1 lead. They won game 1, 12-0 in 4 innings. The batter is Maddie McLaren, the 8th grader. Walked in the 2nd inning, was left. Singled had scored in the 4th, and walked and was left at 3rd of the 5th inning. So we've got some changes. I think a new runner at first base. And that is the case. It's going to be Kenna Schrader, is that correct? Yeah, she's not going to be run for. She's going to be staying there. So here's the pitch on the way. That's high for a ball. So it looked like Coach Hinton was making some changes there.
I think Madison, I'm not sure.
Yeah, we'll check that. It's McLaren at the plate.
We just know who's at the plate.
Yeah, no changes made. Here's the 1-0 pitch coming. Low for a ball. Schrader the runner at first. Nobody down, top of the 7th. Atlantic up 6-1. Count is 2-0 to Maddie McLaren with Lila Wiederstein on deck for the Trojans. Wiederstein is batted 4 times, 3 for 4 with a triple, a double, and a single. And the pitch coming in. Here's a 2-0 offering. That's a strike call. Beautiful pitch right there on the outside edge to make it a 2-1 count to Maddie McLaren. McLaren playing second base for Atlantic here in game 2. 2-1 the count as Schmitz looks in. Here's the pitch on the way. Changeup is a ball. Count is 3-1.
I was with you. I was waiting for him to go like that.
3 balls and a strike. Runner at first. Schrader. Nobody down. Atlantic up 6-1. Here's the pitch coming in. That's outside. Ball 4. Atlantic has 2 on. Here in the top of the 6th inning, and here comes Lila Wiederstein at the plate. Wiederstein, a big night. She had 3 for 4 here. And in game 1, Wiederstein went 2 for 3 with that home run, a two-run homer in the second. What a night she's had. That pitch is strike called. 1-1 to Wiederstein with Dylan Ball on deck. Atlantic 2 on and nobody down, top of the 7th. And a 6-1 lead, 6 runs and 11 hits. Harlan 1 run and 2 hits is what we have here. And the pitch coming from Lauren Schmitz on the way, high and away. 1-1. How do you pitch Wiederstein? I mean, you know.
You got to cut the corners.
Yeah,
You got to just it's got to be the corners where you can't get a good bat on the ball.
1-1 swing and a miss. Wiederstein swinging hard on that one. Now
that was a changeup. She was well out ahead of that.
Yeah. She was so far ahead she could have swung twice.
Yeah. I don't know. Can you do that?
I think so. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swung on and tapped. Another changeup there, Roger.
Yeah. She waited on that one.
I don't think you can swing once the right side, then cross the plate and swing the left side.
No.
You can't.
I'm just waiting for the time that somebody steps up to the plate on the right side and then takes a swing and then moves over to the other side.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Wiederstein. 2 on. Here's the pitch. Swung on and ripped foul right at Hinsman. Boy, he's having
it. You mentioned that. I was watching the news, and Lindor from the Mets.
Oh,
he hit a home run from both sides of the plate.
Yeah, that's a hitter right there.
And that's right.
That's a hitter. 1-2 the count to Wiederstein battling here with 2 on and nobody down. 6-1 Atlantic. Top of the 7th. Here's Smith's pitch coming in. Low and in. Gets away. Runners will head to third and second base. Schrader to third and McLaren to second for Wiederstein. First base open.
You know.
And boy, I don't know.
I'd put her on.
I would just.
I'd just say
forget it.
Go.
I'd put her on right here. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
I wouldn't pitch to her.
Wiederstein, I would.
I mean,
first bit. Look, yeah.
You got a close enough game.
Yeah, she's going to chase that one high, fly ball. Center field, and Schmitz comes in to make the catch. Runner's tag. Here's the throw to the plate, not in time. And Schrader scores for Atlantic to make it a 7-1 game. So a sac fly for Wiederstein as she chopped out. She wasn't going to walk.
No, I know.
She's going to hit a sac fly and get the run in. Atlantic now up 7-1 as Madison McLaren goes to third. Here's Dylan Ball. Atlantic up 7-1. 7 runs, 11 hits. 1 on, 1 out, 1 in. But pulled back, ball is low, count 1-0. So Schrader led off with a single. McLaren walked. They advanced in a pass ball. Then Wiederstein with a fly ball to center field. Schmitz makes the catch. Guns it in, but scores Schrader. The pitch, ball swings, and it's one to center field. Schmitz back up overhead. That's going to score a run from third. Atlantic up 8-1, and a double by Dylan Ball.
Ooh, nice throw.
So Maddie McLaren scores from third, and Dylan Ball with her second hit of the ball game gets a double and an RBI for Atlantic, and the Trojans now up 8-1. 8 runs on 12 hits, and here comes Kirchhoff. Trojans scored a run in the first, 4 in the fourth, 1 in the fifth. Cyclones scored a run in the bottom half of the fifth. Lauren Spitz will pitch one in. Here it is. Line drive, left field. That is going to be caught by Aubrey Wagner.
That gave it a ride. Let's put it that way.
Kirchhoff attacked that first pitch, went to left. Wagner was there to make the grab for Harlan. Now 1 on and 2 down for Atlantic, 2 in. 8-1 Trojans in the top of the 7th inning. And Schroeder will step in. She's walked a pair of times, singled her first time up, struck out and walked twice. She'll send that one to right field. Toonender has a beat on it and makes a nice catch on the track. That ball carried a long way, Roger.
That went a long ways.
And
I was surprised it got that far.
Yeah, Toonender made a nice play.
Yes, indeed.
She had that thing pegged right away, and she made the catch in the track for the Cyclones for the out. And that'll be it for Atlantic. 2-run, on 3 hits, 2 hits in the frame. Atlantic with an 8-1 lead. We go the bottom half of the 7th inning. We're back right after these.
When it's time to think about trailers, think Olson's Outdoor Power. With over 100 trailers in stock at 2 locations, we've got Olson's Outdoor Power is your one-stop service and equipment shop for all things outdoor. We sell the best power sports products in the business, from Polaris, Can-Am, Sea-Doo, and Ski-Doo, trailers to tackle any job from H&H, Triton, and Wilson, and we continue to lead the way in lawn and garden equipment with great products from Exmark, Dixie Chopper, Husqvarna, Cub Cadet, Steel, and Echo. Add factory-trained technicians in 2 locations, and it's easy to see why Olson's Outdoor Power is the leader in all things outdoor. Olson's Outdoor Power, your one-stop service and equipment shop with locations in Atlantic and Carroll.
Operated, Olson Fuel Supply has been delivering to our neighbors and yours for years. Whether it's propane for your home or fuel for your farm or business, Olson Fuel Supply is here for you when you need us. Experience hometown service you can always count on all year long. Olson Fuel Supply, the keep you going company.
Welcome back to Harlan. Tom Robinson, Roger Warren. Cameron Goshorn will lead off with the Cyclones. Looks at a strike, and the count is 0-1. Atlantic up 8-1. We're in the bottom half of the 7th. Trojans won game 1, 12-0. That pitch is swung on. That may be playable.
Got a chance.
On the third base line. And just over Schroeder's head. Nonetheless, 0-2 as Brent Lapp works ahead. All 3 pitchers for Atlantic have looked sharp tonight.
Yes. Brent has been... They've got a few, they put the bat on the ball, a couple of errors on the Trojans, and otherwise she's doing just as well.
0-2 the count. Here's the pitch, rolls in for a ball. 1 ball and 2 strikes. If you look back at Kirchhoff, a perfect game. Faced 12 batters. Atlantic won 12-0 in 4. And then McLaren had a heck of an outing, allowed just 1 hit in her 4 innings of work. That pitch is swung on and fouled straight back. A little floater in there, and now the count remains 1-2 to Cameron Goshorn. Flew out to center and struck out, her 3rd appearance. First time against the Bryn Lamp. And the pitch on the way, swung on up the middle. That's going to be snagged by Kirchhoff, but no play. She did throw it, but a single by Goshorn. She gets down the line. A nice roll down the second base.
That was a slow roller. That was going to be tough.
Kirchhoff able to make a clean glove on it, but threw it anyway.
Yeah, she had a better chance at it. If McKenna could have picked it up, she would have had to turn and completely.
Right, yep.
She was running at her.
McKenna, the second base
Zoe
person,
was running right at it.
Well, you're talking about it. Second was running towards second base bag. And
right.
Kirchhoff had the easier angle. Here's a pitch on the way, pop up. That's going to be out of play. Susie Kenkel to plate, struck out, and then reached on an error in the 5th inning. Was forced out at second base. 8-1 Atlantic with the lead. Harlan 1 on and nobody down in the bottom half of the 7th. Kenkel, then Carly Goshorn to bat for the Cyclones. Stay tuned for the post-game show coming up. We'll hear from Terry Hinsman. I imagine a couple of players as well. 0-1 high and away. Throw to first base. Not in time, and a nice block there by Goshorn. That thing might have gone out into right field, hit Goshorn's legs.
We benefited from her laying on the ground.
1-1 the count, and that had to sting, too, with Wiederstein throwing that bullet down the line. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Swung on and fouled back, and Lamp works ahead 0-2 to Kinkle. Atlantic needs 3 outs for the win and a sweep here. They've won 5 straight. They're 5-1 of the year after losing game 1 against Mo Valley last Wednesday night. 0-2 the count. Here's the pitch. Low and in, 1-2. To Susie Kinkle, the catcher for Harlan Community. Kinkle right-handed hitter. Carly Goshorn on deck. Cameron Goshorn, the runner at first base. Bottom half of number 7. Lamp awaits. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swing on and missed, strike 3. That one was out of the zone, and
she chased that one.
Kinkle went chasing. And there's 1 out. Goshorn at first.
That's what you hope for, because when you only got 1 ball, you can throw them a little out of the zone and hope they will chase.
Here's Carly Goshorn at the plate. 1 on and 1 out. Atlantic up 8-1. Bottom of the 7th. Cyclones at the plate. Fly ball, foul territory, and a great effort by Sontag. Diving for it and just can't quite get to it.
Holy buckets.
What?
She about got there.
Well, she about did. I thought she said she was slow. 0-1 to count. Yeah, good hustle by Sontag and made a diving effort. 1 on and 1 out for Harlan. Bottom of the 7th inning. Atlantic up 8-1. Here's the pitch, high and away. 1-1 the count. Carly Goshorn at the plate. Cameron Goshorn, the runner at first base for Harlan. Atlantic has Schroeder at third. Kirchhoff at short. Sontag at second. McLaren at first. Pitch is swung on right as Sontag at second makes the play. Throws the first not in time. And now Atlantic is 1 out away from sweeping the doubleheader.
Well, she's taking a beating there at first base.
Yeah.
McKenna hit her in the back.
Much more coming up.
She caught one from Lila, and then she caught one
Yeah.
from McKenna. It's like,
we'll have a post game coming up. Much more coming up here in this one tonight. 8-1. Atlantic with the lead. They're 1 out away here. As Arkfeld at the plate, here's the pitch. Fastball is high and in. And the count is 1-0. Trojans won the game 1, 12-0 on 8 hits. Left just 4 home runs in that probably one-dated game. That pitch is fouled straight back. Atlantic 1 run in the first, 4 in the fourth, 1 in the fifth, 2 in the top of this frame. Harlan 1 run in the bottom half of the 5th, down 8-1. They need base runners here with the 2 down in the bottom of 7th. Here's the pitch, slow count 2-1. Aubrey Arkfeld, the 7th hitter in the Harlan lineup, doubled and scored a run in the 5th inning. And that RBI double, 1 for 2. And the 2-1 pitch from Lamp is on the way. Swung on right at the first baseman, Peyton McLaren. She stabs in foul territory. And that'll be it for the Cyclones. And that's it for the game. Atlantic with an 8-1 win in game 2, a 12-0 win in game 1. We'll add up the numbers in a post-game show with Terry Hinsman and players coming up. We're back right after these at 95.7 FM, our live video stream at westerniowatoday.com, and YouTube, powered by Nishtanet.
First Windy Bank is the longest standing locally owned bank in Atlantic, and as such, we take pride in how we serve our community. For generations, we have been involved with our customers and their families by getting involved in community events and by supporting technology and teaching financial literacy in our schools. You'll also see our support of athletics on the scoreboards at home events. It's this involvement that allows us to know our customers and their families for generations. First Windy Bank, the only bank you'll ever need. Member FDIC.
Have you ever heard the saying, people spend their life building wealth and neglecting their health, only to wish they could trade their wealth for better health at the end? This is Dr. Fritz Beyer, and it has now been over 30 years since my first chiropractic adjustment. I still get asked, do you get adjusted? Absolutely. I try to get adjusted at least once a month. I'm 47 now and still try to stay as active as ever. While I do get a few more aches and pains than when I was younger, it feels great to be able to step on the mat and help kids learning to wrestle. Chiropractic has helped me feel young enough to do it. If staying active is part of your future plans, call 254-BODY to get your body back to the basics.
Atlantic 8 runs on 13 hits in game number 2. They win game 1 12-2-0. And we're going to talk to the two pitchers here, Zoe Kirchhoff and Peyton McLaren. We'll also hear from Lila Wiederstein as well here in the ball game. And I'll tell you what, it was a great one here, Roger Warren, and it was just a big night for Atlantic bats here this evening, and we're going to get our post-game coming up here in just a little bit. Let's go back and recap game number 2. Lila Wiederstein with a triple to lead off that first inning, and that gave Atlantic a 1-0 lead. They scored 1 run on 3 hits in that frame. And then in the second, I tell you what, Lauren Schmitz pitched well.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, and the second inning, Atlantic was scoreless. Third inning, the Trojans were scoreless. Then the fourth inning, the Trojans scored 4 runs on 4 hits. Wiederstein had a single and scored and had an RBI. Kirchhoff had a 2 RBI double in that inning. Sondheim had a double, and Madison McLaren had a single for Atlantic. And the Trojans scored 4 runs on 4 hits and took a 5-0 lead. They made a 6-0 lead in the 5th inning, scoring 1 run on 2 hits. A double again by Wiederstein and a double by McLaren, and that inning and a sac fly by Schrader. Atlantic then opened up a big lead there, 6-0 at the end of 5. They tacked on 2 more in the 7th inning when Schrader and Madison McLaren both scored. Schrader had a single, and Madison McLaren walked, and also Lila Wiederstein had a sacrifice fly to drive in a run in that 7th inning. Dylan Ball had a double, her second hit of the ball game. Atlantic 8 runs on 13 hits in the game. They did give up 1 run in looks like 1 run to Harlan there in that 5th inning. It was Goshorn scoring after reaching base in a fielder's choice. Aubrey Arkfield had an RBI double to score Goshorn. The Cyclones scored 1 run on a pair of hits in the ball game. Waiting to talk to some of the Atlantic players. We want Peyton McLaren and Zoe Kirchhoff. We'll take a break here. As we wait for their arrival, we're back right after these.
Elegant Retreat that offers aesthetic dermatology services and professional-grade skincare products. Our team provides appointments for Botox, dermal fillers, and resurfacing treatments. And we recently added esthetician services including diamond glow dermabrasion, facials, waxing, brow tinting, eyelash tints and lifts, and exfoliating treatments. Now open Tuesday through Thursday, the Cass Health Med Spa team is ready to help you look and feel your best. Learn more and schedule your appointments online at casshealth.org/medspa.
Welcome back to postgame on 95.7 FM. Lila Wiederstein, waiting for her to come with us. Zoe Kirchhoff, hopefully we'll get to talk to them. Here comes Lila as the Trojans big night here. Peyton McLaren also will have on the postgame, and Zoe Kirchhoff as well. And ladies, come on up here and we'll get your headset on. And again, Zoe Kirchhoff as well. We'll have, Lila Wiederstein joining us here. Lila, another great outing for you, and I want to go back to those 4 home runs that you were a part of here tonight. But your overall thoughts on the win, 12-0 and 4. You come back and win 8-1 in the second game. Your thoughts?
Yeah, we did super good. It was definitely a teamwork effort, and Peyton and Zoe did great on the pitching mound, so that really carried us throughout both of the games. Talk about your night at the plate. You had a 2-run shot in the second inning and a double, and then game number 2 hit the ball just as well. Talk about what's working for you at the plate. Yeah, it definitely took me a while to get the timing down, but once I got that timing down, and I was really seeing the ball, and once we started connecting those hits together, it just all worked out for all of us.
Yeah, triple in the first inning and scored a single and drove in a run in the 4th, a double in the 5th, and sac fly in the 7th inning. Busy week for this ball club. How do you like that? Is that what you guys look forward to?
Yeah, this is a really busy week this week, so it's great to bring this confidence in and carry us through the rest of the week.
You're 6 straight wins now. You fell short in game 1, and you're now on a roll. What's been the difference the last 6 games for this team?
Yeah, definitely. We want to get that win back, and we really took that one to heart. So yeah, we're ready to keep going and get those good wins.
Great win tonight. Best of luck the rest rest of the way.
Thank you, Tom.
All right, you bet. Lila Wiederstein and Peyton McLaren, Zoe Kirchhoff also coming up as well. Peyton, you pitched game number 2 and 4 solid innings. Pitched a one-hitter, maybe even could have been a no-hitter there, but your thoughts on what was working for you in the circle in game 2?
Definitely just focusing on changing speeds and movement pitches, and Lila's also a big help because she frames it really well, which is a lot easier on me.
Talk about your plate appearances. You had some hits tonight as well, and talk about what you were seeing in there.
It's definitely just a speed change from what we're used to, so just sitting on it and focusing on waiting and trying to take it to right field was kind of my mindset.
So, Peyton, you and Zoe trade off in the circle, and Bryn Lamp is kind of been added. She got to pitch quite a bit on Saturday. She comes in and pitches tonight. What does it mean to have her now as part of this staff as well?
I'm so happy for her because she puts in a lot of work along with me and Zoe, so it's just I'm happy for her to get that opportunity as well.
What are you picking up from Zoe?
Zoe just really, she's just so fun to be with, and she just makes me so relaxed.
Great outing, Peyton, here in the circle and on the into batter's box, and best of luck moving forward.
Thank you.
You bet. Peyton McLaren joining us here on the post-game show, and now we're joined by Zoe Kirchhoff with us. Zoe, what a game. Number 1, pitched a perfect game, 12 batters, 1-4 with 12 runs. Your thoughts? We know it was working. We'll let you tell us in that game number 1 in the circle.
I mean, yeah, as a pitcher, you kind of just go out and you're trying to give your team the best chance by throwing strikes and making sure that each time you're giving them a good opportunity to win. I think I absolutely could not have done that at all without my team. They made plays behind me. They were perfect, which is so good. We've been working on limiting our errors and just playing cleaner. Also, at the plate, pitching's a lot easier when you have a lead and when you have runs. So I'm so proud of my team for everything they did, and I honestly couldn't have done it without them. 6
strikeouts. You faced 12 batters, 6 strikeouts. And the changeup, love to see that. It looks like it's even better, even sharper this season. Is that something you worked on in the off season?
Oh yeah, changing speeds is really important for pitching, especially when you're going up against good hitters, which our conference and our schedule is pretty tough. So that is something that we all worked on really hard this year, and I'm proud of all of us for where we've come on that pitch. And yeah, it's something that we practiced a lot of, so it's good to see it pay off.
So what do you think has been going right here? 6 straight wins. Talk about this streak right now as you head to Creston tomorrow night.
Yeah, honestly, I think we're doing a really good job of just taking it one game at a time and making sure to focus each at-bat, each play, never looking too far ahead. I think that first loss really got to us, really upset us. We wish we came away with that one. So I think after that, we've just been really focused, been really locked in, and yeah.
Zoe, great night tonight. Best of luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
And Zoe also with a big home run tonight we didn't ask her about, but we certainly talked about it, Zoe, and one of those big bombs there this evening. Well, we're going to be joined by Atlantic head coach Terry Hinsman. And, Coach, congrats here as you pick up wins number 5 and 6, 6 straight wins for this team. 12 runs in game 1. You had 4 home runs in game 1, and then you win 8-1 second game. Your thoughts, Coach?
Well, you can take the home runs any way that you want to, and those were big for us, and getting runners on base was also a plus, but I thought we left too many runners on, and I didn't think we were all that disciplined at the plate, especially in the lower half of the order. We swung at pitches that we probably shouldn't have, got ourselves in a little bit of trouble, and then allowed her to throw the changeup, which was very effective for the Harlan pitchers, and that kind of messed stuff up. And then you probably wrote F something or other on there numerous times. We got out front on it and popped the ball up, and it doesn't matter if you got a little league team out there or whomever it is, they're going to be able to catch pop-ups even in this win. But overall, we'll go back and kind of regroup there at the plate and get a little bit more discipline and go down and see if we can fix that before we get to Creston.
Yeah, I like game number 2. You went to small ball and 1-0 game. You go into the third inning. Schmitz is doing fairly well. You go to the bunt, and that manufactured some runs and got
you noticed that,
going.
Huh?
Absolutely.
Talk we're about popping the ball up. I mean, like I said, anybody can catch a pop-up. Let's see if they can execute bunt defense. And honestly, we've worked really hard on the bunting part of it. In all fairness, we've spent the off season a little bit working on bunts. We spend every practice that we're bunting somehow, whether it's in situations or just mechanics and mechanical things. So I really feel that we bunted pretty well all season long. We have executed those very, very well. Even Lila put a bunt down. So
yeah. We were guessing now. We know she's got the power, and Roger called it. He thought you were going to put it down, and you did.
Roger's got some inside information. Probably.
He must have.
She begs me to do that all the time, and it was just the situation called for it in that time.
Got the speed. Coach, talk about moving forward. A busy week. Creston on Tuesday. Talk about facing the Panthers on the road.
Well, they're going to be tough. I mean, and that's just the way it is. They're ranked in 4A, and Coach Hartman's going to have them ready to go, and they know the ramifications of a game that we're going to when we play each other like that. It's a little different than it was last year, where we go down there with a double header and you're trying to get 2 pitchers and stuff ready. Now we just have to get 1, but then they do the same kind of stuff. So we're just going to have to, I would say, be a little bit more disciplined at the plate, make all the plays, because we found that when we have an error, just the same thing here. You have an error and it leads to a run. We were over at Missouri Valley, had 5 errors, led to 5 runs. We go to Denison, second game, give up 3 runs on the entire day, but that was 2 errors in that inning. So, we just can't give teams 4 and 5 outs per inning. We have to make sure we make all the plays.
Coach, congrats on the wins, though. 6-1, heading for Creston tomorrow. Thanks so much.
You bet. Yeah, it's better. A win's better than a poke in the eye with a sharp stick, isn't it, Tom?
And we'll be back to wrap things up. Big thanks to Coach Hinsman, also Zoe Kirchhoff, Peyton McLaren here joining us, as well as Lila Wiederstein here in the postgame show on 95.7 FM. Atlantic wins 12-0 in Game 1. 12 runs on 8 hits, and they win Game 2 with 8 runs on 13 hits. Roger, your final thoughts?
I'll tell you what, it's nice to get both wins tonight. Obviously, they came out in that first game when I understood what Coach Hinsman was talking about. You've got to have, when you have a game like that where you just absolutely hit the snot out of the ball and things like that, from a coach's standpoint, you're looking for things that you can work on. That you can improve on, and that's why you got to remain focused, because the next game's a little bit different. They had to battle on that one. It came out 8-1, but you're going to have those games where it's going to be 2-1, and that's when all those little coaching points come into play, and you can finish them off.
Roger, thank you very much. We'll see you Friday. We'll have the Atlantic Estherville Lincoln Central game at 3:30, and we'll end up with the Carlisle Atlantic game, the nightcap, at around 7 o'clock right here at 95.7 FM and our live video stream, westerniowatoday.com, YouTube, and TV, and powered by Nishtanet. Thanks for joining us. Good night from Harlan.
On Alice's Attic with Alice Cooper.